Peace, greetings, greetings. I will that you all can hear me in Clubhouse land, YouTube, and Facebook. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Greetings to everyone. Um, I am Ema Yakira Eden, and of course, this is the Honor Life Global Mid Day Affirmative. So I'm just going to give everyone a moment to get here. Yeah. And while I do, I'm going to just share a sonic libation with you all. That's what I'm going to do. And as you come in, if you can just let me know if you can hear me okay, please. Peace Akotiafe, peace Aki Darian, peace Sovereign Eats. Yeah, please just let me know if you can hear me, if you can hear the music. Please take a moment to tell me your story. Okay, good, thanks. You are the ones who came before me. So this is an affirmative. This is a time to kind of regroup and gather yourself for the new strong. So take the moment while the music plays to just settle. So if you're settled and you can just do some deep breathing, please do that. Just close your eyes and breathe in deep. Allow your belly to fully expand with that inhalation and hold it for just a few seconds and then release. In this moment, names rarely spoken. If it's not too cold where you are, take your shoes off and try to let your feet just settle into whatever ground you have beneath you. Peace, Abba Harut. Peace, Ema, talk to your speaker. So we're just opening with the sonic libation, allowing you all to take a moment, and myself, to take a moment and settle in. All right, give thanks. I hope that allowed everyone to to get into the vibe. And if you are unfamiliar, yes, that song is banging. Akoti Savanit said in the, I think in the YouTube chat, that of course is Chief Yuya Clouds. So if you haven't heard that before, please, I'm sure someone will share it in the chat. It's on all streaming platforms. So Chief Yuya Clouds. I'm going to open the space and just begin. Like I said, my name is Ema Yakira Eden, and you are here with me as we go through another midday affirmative. This is how we, Anu, and you all, because there are many that come and join us. This is how we open our strong, or as you may know it as a week. But you don't want it to be weak. And we know that words have power. It is what brings forth life. And so we choose our words carefully. So call it a strong, make it strong, be strong. I wouldn't even be here, and I have to give thanks, of course, to the Most High Yah for every single breath, every opportunity to take that air into the body and to breathe out what is no longer needed to sustain me. And of course, I wouldn't be here in this space had it not been for my head, Chief Yuya, and the Chief Jegna of Anu Life Global Ministries. So thank you, Chief Yuya. Let's see. Peace, Ema welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm going to jump right in. And of course, I'm always going to do a little bit of housekeeping. So if you see me looking down, for one, my iPad's down here today. So I'm like looking at my notes, but also the Clubhouse phone, the bat phone is also down here. So as people may want to jump onto the podium, I need to look down in order to see that, if anybody raises hands or what have you. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to get right into it. I'll put the phone up here so I can see better. Let me do this. There we go. I'll do that. That works better. And let me know if you can still hear me properly in Clubhouse. I kind of put my phone in a stand and willfully it doesn't block the audio. So the name of the segment today is Launch from Good Ground. What is that about? I had to ask myself when I received that title. I'm like, well, what am I saying? What is the charge? What are we affirming by launching from good ground? Can you launch from bad ground? Are there bad launches? And of course, we're going to get into the contours and definition of this statement. But before we do, I'm actually curious. Okay, give thanks to Kotiafe. I'm actually curious, what you all think about the idea of launching. And can you have a bad launch? If you decide to spring forward, is it always a good thing? No matter what you're foundating from? And so whenever you jump in and however you decide to share and to build with us, yes, exactly. Yeah, mission fail is real. Absolutely. Akoti Yafe put that on in YouTube, on the YouTube chat. Absolutely, mission fail is real. Hold on, let me just fix this here. Something's going on here with my Clubhouse. Oh, okay. There we go. Now I see the raised hands. Sorry. And welcome in, Peace Master Manelek. Feel free to jump in if you like.
Peace, everyone.
Peace.
Okay, so when we were younger, right? This is Caribbean stuff, especially before you had the internet and all of these devices. I never used to do it too much, but I used to watch. I used to watch my brothers and the older boys in the neighborhood. They used to flip, right? Back flip, front flip. It was like a game. You just play. My older brother was really good at it. But both my brothers were really good at it. My older brother used to like launching from high places. So you do backflips off a rooftop, stuff like that. But we had a cousin whose name I will not say. And sometimes in order to get extra hang time, there used to be like a little a makeshift ramp, almost like Olympic ramp, but it was like a makeshift ramp. You know, you just prop up a piece of lumber, a piece of plywood onto something like maybe some blocks or a tire or something like that. And if you sprang forward from there, like you got some extra height, you know, you got some height time. So there was this one place where we were staying. We moved around a lot, but this one place had an ackee tree in the back of it. Big ackee tree, right? So this cousin, he basically, everyone went, you know, they sprang forward, you know, and his cousin, he wasn't satisfied with how he thought we could get more hang time, but not me, because you know I wasn't doing this. Plus, I was too young; he wouldn't let me do it anyway. So they fixed it, and well, he fixed it. You know, he did his engineering, and my brother tried it, and he went extra height. So he was like, "Oh, that's good," you know. So cousin tried it. Well, the other brother tried it. He's like, "Yeah, it is good." So the cousin finally tried it. You know, he set up and he took off to the start. He started running and he jumped and then he disappeared. It's like, okay, where did he go?
Oh no.
So we're looking around and we hear like some bushes, like leaves moving. He sprang so high, but he took off like at a bad angle and he wound up inside of the ackee tree. You know, so they help him get down. But yeah, that's what came to mind when you talk about a bad launch. You know.
And you know, unless that was his intention, right? But it doesn't sound like it was.
Nah. There's no way you can play that off.
Right. And you know, well, what's interesting in peace, Akizak, jump in whenever you like.
Exactly.
What's interesting about your share is that it started with him having a vision and wanting to innovate, right? And so that these are components to a launch. Now, what you do with it, which you do, and which you're founded on, is what we're going to get into. That's that idea of good grounds, or even exploring, like, what are you springing forward off of. So it's you know, you said he took a running start, but before he took that running start, he put some systems in place. His calculations might have been a bit askew, but he put some systems in place. So that's all a part of what we're going to get into. Akizak, did you want to jump in?
Peace and blessings, Ema Yakira.
Peace.
Clubhouse. Yeah, I'm a start out like Master Minute. Like when we were young, it started when we were younger. You were mine. Oh, here we go. The karaoke.
Right. Yes. And I'm over here snapping.
So when you just said, you know, launching from good ground, and ultimately what came to mind for me was just seeing how many people have tried to start a family, but ultimately didn't launch from ground that was stable, didn't launch from ground that, or didn't even have seeds that were, they fertilized seeds that didn't have any ground to begin with. And now one is ultimately paying the consequence for that. And a lot of times, sometimes, let's just say, people will enter into a relationship, sometimes even on the internet, not even meeting somebody, and then break up on the internet, not even meeting this person, but having some real physical reactions behind it. What type of ground have you tried to launch from in that setting? Even in the sense of when bringing children forth, it's almost you start asking certain questions that's in the solutions for the dysfunctional family of, What is a man? What is a woman? I mean, there's a even Chief had mentioned a documentary that the guy Matt Walsh did, which just starts asking some basic and elementary questions. What is love? Because these are words that people use on a daily basis, but then when you ask them, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? Now all of a sudden you see that the ground that they have tried to launch from is not stable. That they're now trying to push off from quicksand instead of building a solid foundation. So now when you enter into a relationship, how do you know what you want when you don't even know what you are? You don't even know how you fit into the piece. So now how can you start to even pass down anything of nutritional value when you don't know what you are? And skipping the basics and never really sitting with certain words that you say, oh, okay, yeah, I already know what it is. But what are you launching from? What has this society handed to you to keep people broken, to keep families broken? Chief has said it the other day, the whole world knows who you are. You don't know who you are.
Right.
That's the only person that doesn't know it. Now, are you going to continue to try to keep launching from some BS or somebody trying to hand you something that hasn't really worked out? Or are you finally going to start to listen and take heed to what's in front of you and actually start to put some things in place so we can start to launch from good ground?
All right now. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. And you know, when you spoke about the family piece, knowing what sort of ground you're planting your seed into, right? Knowing, having that understanding, and you really can't. I don't think the average person can have that knowledge just based on virtual communication. So but maybe I stand corrected, but I think in most instances there isn't even a commitment to exploring what that would be. So thank you both for sharing and answering that initial question. I want to share a few references before I go further, and I'm going to do this because you know I think for those of us at this point, it's myself, Akotiafe, and Aki Zach that are here doing the midday affirmatives. We prepare, you know, lots of notes, but then the conversation just, it's a build. And so as it evolves, we sometimes don't get to everything. But there are some key things that I do want you all to explore, whether we get into it here or not. So I'm going to give those up front. One is a commanded day, and it's the October 15th, Courage to Be Different. And that commanded day can be found on Chief Yuya's YouTube channel. And again, I'm going to trust that my community, and we're going to talk about that, on YouTube, they can share. They're going to post all of these things. In the chat. So there's the commanded day, and I'm gonna pull a few references from there. I'll also be pulling from the Anu Way when we're talking a bit about foundation, and specifically the vital edicts. And so you may want to have that handy. We're going to dip over into Proverbs, and let me give this up front. Chief, he wound up doing like a 5. I think it might even had a 6-part. It was like a 5 to 6-part series on a particular passage in, you may call it Proverbs, but Proverbs. And what he said in the first episode of that series, and it was broken up based on, I don't know, a glitch with YouTube perhaps. But in the first, he actually explains why we should call it Proverbs and not Proverbs. And so I'll share a bit about that as well. So I'm kind of giving you the sneak peeks up front, so that you all can, think about it and allow it to marinate and engage in this conversation. Please don't selfishly, I'm just going to say it. And I know right now I'm hearing you say, don't say it with a smile. I like to say it. Okay, I'm gonna say it with a mean mug. I can't even. Don't just selfishly listen and not contribute. Um, One, because we put so much effort into these, right? Into coming here. It's not just roll out of bed. What do I want to talk about? Boom, let's do it. There's often lots of intention, thought, energy, meditation put into each and every one of these lives, clubhouse gatherings, etc. And so know that what you have to contribute is valuable and worthwhile, and bring it. I mean, as Chief has said to us here live, what you just said was wrong, but keep going. So don't worry about what thinking that what you say is not accurate. We may not even know, and even if we do, we may not even say anything. And some of what I'm going to say will definitely not be accurate. It's just a part of the experience. So with that, let's get into launching from good ground. Oh, so let me call a few people out with that. So that would mean you, Ema, who happens to always wind up somehow on just YouTube. You can hop over to Clubhouse and hop on to the stage, unless you're otherwise occupied. Peace, Sister Iris. Hold on. See, you heard the call and you answered. Give thanks. Peace, Sister Iris McCabe. You are always here and you do actively participate, and we thank you. So I'm just going to get into it. Launching from good ground. And Sister Iris, if you want to jump in, just feel free to open your mic and hop in whenever you like. So before I even get into anything, when I got this title, Launch from Good Ground, I thought of what Kotsi Yafe mentioned in the chat, like mission fail. I thought of the NASA missions, those that when they launch and things don't go as planned. And then they have to kind of go back and retrace their steps and figure out, well, what went wrong? Why did we not accomplish our mission? And then go back. And I always think about, well, what happened? What's that first thing? What's that foundation? But before we get into the good ground, I want to just share a bit of, defining things. So to launch could mean to rush or plunge or leap. As the unnamed Master Menelek's unnamed cousin, unidentified cousin, he leapt to start forth or to be set into sudden motion. Those are just a few words that you can associate with launching. It actually, I guess the more Latin root's not, I guess, right? I researched it. The more Latin root is lancia, which means a light spear. So I thought that was interesting, right? I didn't dig too much further into it, but a light spear. So, or even a lance. And I know, like when you're going to, like if you have an abscess or a growth, sometimes surgically or medically they can be lanced, or removing a part of it, and almost to allow like new skin to start forth or to bring forth. So when we're launching, it's like we're taking a plunge, or we're leaping into something or rushing into something. And the question is why, right? What's even giving you that impetus to launch? And I'm going to just pull on Master Menelek's example, because as I listened, I was like, right, what was his vision? Like he just said, we can do this better. We can innovate and get higher. We're gonna get into that Aki tree whether we want to or not. And so I'm going to share from a different actual command a day that where Chief Yuya speaks about launching, and he says, when you're launching something of significance, you typically have to launch or step off from something that has to be strong. Something that has to be strong. So in Aki Zach's example with creating family, there may be no strong commitment. There may be no strong knowledge or understanding even about the individual that you're entering into to form this family. There may be no strong vision for what the mission of this family will be. And so therefore, what is strong? If the only thing that's strong is the carnal desire, and that carnal desire usually isn't to make a baby, right? It isn't usually to bring forth life and with an acknowledgement or respect or appreciation for extending the bloodline. It's usually for a much more temporal and temporary feeling. And so, because the intention is set on a temporary feeling, when you get that more permanent extension of yourself, what are they extending? What are they springing forth from? The desire to have a temporal experience. They're not being gestated in visions of community and family and generations and bloodline at all. So I wasn't formed in my mother's and father's eye as this is what we're gonna do. It was like, oh shoot, that's what we did. Which it's funny but not funny. But that was the reality for so many of us. And then from there, it's kind of like, well, I guess let's see what happens next. That would be the opposite of launching from good grounds. That would be rushing in without any concern or consideration for what you're going to create. We do this even with our words and our statements and our thoughts. And that's another reason that I thought this was good for our midday affirmative, because we're setting this time to affirm something, to solidify, to make something firm, in order to create, right? In order to create what we're going to do for the strong. So launching from good ground, we have ground, which is the bottom or the foundation, the surface of the earth. You can also think of it as the abyss, right? All of what is not necessarily known to you, but all of what you're standing on at the time. And so I thought of, grounding, and when I mentioned it in the really, really brief moment that I offered you all to settle in, I suggested if you could to take off your shoes and just feel the ground beneath your feet. And that was intentional, right? Grounding can be something that helps us get acclimated. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I could be, what state of mind am I in? Am I in the right state of mind to even participate today? Do I need to sit quietly and get settled a bit more before I even do anything for myself or anyone else? What am I drawing from? What am I pulling up from? And I know I tend to pose lots of questions because I think it's important that we each consider what the answer might be and willfully share some of those answers. Wait, let's see. Okay. There's something going on in the chat. So Master Menelik shared the courage to be different, give thanks. Oh, Akotiafe, she said Neo 5 times. And so for those who don't get that inside joke or who was not present for the builds where that was mentioned in the chat by Chief, if you say Neo 5 times, Akizak will appear. So all right, as one of my little cousins used to say, him say. It's like him say. It's like, okay, him say that. Him say once you do that, you're gonna appear. And of course, Pisa Kotiafe, if you want to jump in, feel free. So that is at least defining launch and ground. Okay, so Chief Yuya says, hold on, let me remember how to do these things. I'm gonna show it, and then I'm gonna read it. So he says, peace all, you don't know what your parents were thinking during your conception. Maybe they weren't thinking. Not everyone snorts a line of quartz crystal powder before sexing. Sometimes Holy Spirit takes over. There you go. Snorts what? Okay, sorry. Peace to you, y'all. I don't who does that? Maybe I don't want to know. But thank you. No, I don't know. I don't know. There's no way of knowing what they were thinking. And you know what? Maybe they did spring forth from good ground, because here I is, y'all. So yes, give thanks for that. So again, I'm going to go back to the line that I shared earlier. When you're launching something of significance, you typically have to launch or step off from something that has to be strong. So I thought about the things that I've started, the initiatives that I, did because, I just thought it was the thing to do. Or someone told me, you'd be good at this. And so I did it. And then maybe it worked for a little while, but then it like completely fizzled out, failed. Or maybe it didn't fail. Maybe I just fizzled out and had no longer had a desire to do that thing. And when I look back and looked at this line and thought about it, it was like, that makes a lot of sense, because what I was launching from, what I was stepping off or springing forward off of, it wasn't very solid. It was somebody else's, barely clear opinion of something I should do. And then I did it because it was like, oh, well, if they think I should do it, I guess, I should do it. Or here's an even better one. How much does it pay? How much are they going to pay me to do this? I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. That's not a strong, I would say. I mean, maybe I should hear from you all. Is that a strong reason to launch into something? I mean, I'm gonna change my own answer based on recent instruction. It could be. It could be, and I'm going to say it could be, even though I was initially using it as an example for not being good ground. It could be if you're clear about what your goals are. Oh, and I see your Kotiafe. It could be if you're clear on what your goals are, and if what you need to do is stack your paper so that you can accomplish what it is you've envisioned or the vision that's been planted in you as a woman, then that is the right thing to do. Magnolia leaves. Okay, that I understand. Okay, go ahead and go to Yafe. Peace.
Peace. I'm sorry, I just was reading the new comment. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. So to answer the most recent question, I was going to say a full-hearted, like, no, that's not a good reason. But then I remembered I had similar instruction, like a question was asked. Okay, let me back up. So once I was like, I'm going to go, this was a few years ago. I was like, I'm going to, put out an application and I'm going to try to move over to this particular organization. Well, and then the question was asked of me, why? And I was like, because there's more money, And it was like, well, why is that important? I was like, I don't know, because there's more money, And so there was no vision, there was no plan. It was like, just get that money, get that bag, right? And so in that instance, it's like, no, it's not a good reason. I would not have been launching from good ground because there was no plan. Okay, well, what are you going to do with those funds? What is the end goal? And the only end goal was more money. And then the only thing that breeds is like, okay, I'm gonna just keep doing all these things with no purpose just because they get more money, right? But there's nothing, no plan for what I'm gonna do with those funds later. So in that instance, yes, I agree, no. And then the other thing I wanted to share was like, that's exactly what I was thinking when I thought mission failed. Because when I saw like launching from good ground, the first thing I thought was like the launch pad, like a NASA mission. I literally saw like the fire underneath the rocket ship. And, those times it was like, Houston, we have a problem. And it's like, why do we have a problem, Houston? It's because something didn't go right in the planning, and all the pre-checks or what pre-flight plan, whatever it is that they do when it's, before they launch into space. And I thought of the times where you do launch into space, right? There have been times where they've launched and they, went out into to try to touch the firmament, if you will. And then they came back and then boom, everything blew up. And it's like, well, what happened? Why did everything blow? Oh, because there was a flap missing on such and such in the underneath panel. And it's like, well, who didn't check that? Why wasn't that checked? How come you didn't see that before all this money was spent and they went flying up into the stratosphere, whatever, atmosphere, whatever it is? Why wasn't that checked? And it's like that same thing can happen when we're not launching from good ground. That you don't launch from good ground because you didn't fortify. You didn't do all your pre-flight plan before you went out. You didn't, have a clear vision before you went out there. So then because you didn't, you're still not launching from good ground. It's not just necessarily like the platform is good and what you got from it because you weren't listening. So for an example of like as a woman, it's like you'll have that good direction and good instruction and strong foundation, but then you go off and you don't really think about the tactics, or you're not using, which I have been guilty of, like critical thinking of how to, complete a project. And so it's like it'll launch and then it'll just blow up in my face. Case in point, I'm currently working on a class, like a module like that I'll launch on YouTube. And I did it. I did the first one. And when I played it back, it was tishy. It was disgusting. It was just like, what is this? Like you can do better than that. And it's because like I rushed it. And it wasn't, and so like that rushing means like I didn't do all the pre-planned checks, the sound wasn't good. And when I even went back even further, I'm like, oh, I don't even like that slide. And then I listened more and I'm like, I missed like 2 whole major pieces of information that should have been included in the lesson. So it means I wasn't launching for good ground because I was rushing the job. And so had I actually put it live, it literally would have been one of those things that blew up. And so instead, I kept it as unlisted, so that I could view it and, review it. And so I have a chance to go back and actually launch properly from good ground, like fortify the slides, make sure the sound check is good, and if it means I have to do the video where I have to do it in pieces and then like edit it together, then do that and not try to do it in like one full shot. So like that launching from good ground also means like doing those pre-flight checks as well, so you don't have a piece missing. So then when you're re-entering, you don't blow up. It doesn't blow up in your face.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Right. That pre-flight plan, that I like that. And trusting that trusting that the knowing, and not even trusting, knowing that the instructions given, knowing that the vision for what can be produced is exactly what is possible. Um, because when you know that, then when you do those checks and balances, you realize, okay, this is not on par with what the vision was or what the instructions were. I have to go back. I need to, I need to redo. I need, select to come again until you get it right. So thank you for that reminder. And then I guess the other part of that is knowing, in your example with the the NASA, well, this didn't work, or that didn't go the way we expected. It's not always about rushing. It's about moving based on that set timeline, as you touched on. And peace, you Chief Yuya in the Clubhouse chat. Okay, and on YouTube, Chief said, okay, smoke a bag of magnolia leaves. All right, well, maybe I understand that one. The point is, people may be possessed by benevolent, interdimensional beings functioning through erect penis and wet yoni. We only need holy accord for what? A millisecond. I should make this bigger. For a millisecond. Yeah, there you have it. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So, when I was thinking about, okay, well, when we launch and we don't have that, or even we do have that solid ground and good footing, what are some of the things, like what does that look like? Would it look like Akotiafe said, I'm well prepared and I have a plan. I am not rushing because I know this is my cadence. And as long as I maintain my rhythm and I know that these are the major points that I need to cover, as long as I cover them, I'm gonna continue to propel. I don't know the word. I don't know the word. That's crazy. Come on, Master Menelik, help me. What's the word? Is it? I don't know. Okay, go forward.
I was gonna say, yeah, that is crazy.
I don't know the word.
You dishonor your family. You dishonor your lineage.
I cut off. I think it's propel. But when we it's almost like that when you are launching and you are creating, look at your creation. Look at your I have 2 youth, and it's like I sometimes look, I'm like, oh man, I did that. It's not good. It's not good, y'all. But I did it. And so in knowing that, like, or like in Akotiafe's example, the whatever part, the capacitator wasn't functioning as it should, right? And I made that up. I don't know if that's a thing. But it's like
the flux capacitor.
The flux. Thank you. I know.
I don't know. I don't know. That's from Back to the Future.
That was what I was trying to pull from. But I'm much better at inappropriate lyrics than I am movie references. But that said, once you know what's wrong, and willfully it hasn't fully blown up to the point where there is more, damage than it's worth to repair, you can go back and fix it. You can go back and fix it. That's something worth affirming, that we're going to make mistakes, that if we are not founded on the proper ground, if we're not springing forth from something solid, and with something solid, what's important there is the idea of, or the reality of, community or communal standard. Because with that, peace, Mayuba, and let's see, hold on, sorry. Yeah, y'all know I can't do more than one thing at a time, so I'm like allowing people into the speaking space. Peace, Brother Mayuba, and welcome, Chief, to the podium. Of course, feel free to jump in whenever you like. But the reality of community, when you have community, right? And the Anu way, this is a plug. Anu way, actually, we had the privilege, some of us, to formulate an Anu glossary of terms, and defining them based on our understanding and how we use those terms. And so we often define things for us all, for you all. But soon and very soon, you will actually be able to access the glossary. So what you'll find is that there are common themes for each strong. And so this strong, the theme is community and culture. So you'll hear us touch on community and culture and define it and expounding upon it in many different ways. But when you have community and you have a community standard, that can help to set your foundation. That can actually also help to clarify the vision and your purpose within that community. Maybe, in Akotsi Yafe's example, she's clearly being charged to teach something, to edify the community by offering a particular service. And so that's clear. There's no question about what her charge is as far as instruction. And that can be the solidifying of that foundation. You don't have to have doubt. Should I do that? Because this person told me, especially as a woman, right? The more people tilling your soil, the more men tilling your soil, and men can be man or the man, right? Planting ideas, telling you how and what you should be and do, or how you should function, or what headship even looks like. Headship for so many women looks like being independent, and I do what I want, and I get this bag, and I make this money. That becomes your head. I don't know where it's going to get you, but that's what you then begin to foundate on. Did anyone want to jump in before I? No? Okay, I'm going to continue. So community, I'm going to just read. Fellow followers of the way, come, community, come unity. So fellow followers of the way, you're following the same standard. What's interesting about, followers of the way is, and Chief has touched on this several times in the past, the early in scripture, it wasn't called like the church. I think it was the church. It wasn't called the church, the body of Christ. They were called followers of the way. So we're following the same way of being. We are one community. No matter where we are on the map, we're abiding by, and we are connected through this one standard. And because we're doing that, our foundation should be the same, or very, very similar, right? If you think about the Anu way, and matter of fact, let me just instead of pulling something off my dome, let me share what I actually intended to share. In the Anu way Vital Edicts, under the How We Live section, it says, we live in elevated mountainous places. It is best to build homes on the hardened ground, as we want a worthy place to house the articles that are precious to us. The hardened ground. I know for those of us who go through the Anu way, and I think Akoti Maria, yeah, she said it just yesterday in our Sabbath build with the sisters in our womb build. We spoke about, or she spoke about going back to text, to particularly the Anu way, and allowing the words to have, like, to breathe life and to be clarifying in the moment. And so, of course, I'm looking into what I want to share with you all, and the idea of springing forward and launching. And one of the areas that I come to is, again, hardened ground, setting your house on firm ground up in a mountainous region. And we know the mountains are very firm and usually like rocky and stony, right? Our homes are the representations of our cultivated minds and should have a foundation that are deeply planted, just as our minds must be structured and equipped to be to its lowermost distances. Live in rural environments that allow you to live in coordination with nature. It is in the wilderness that our Creator purges us of the obstacles that exist in the crevices of our heads. It is in the wilderness. I like that. It is in the wilderness that our Creator purges us of the obstacles that exist in the crevices of our heads. I'm going to pull a Sister Maria. Sometimes she just sits there quiet because it's like, gotta let it settle just a little bit. I shared this as an example of a visual, like, and willfully you can see it as that. If you have a vision for what things could be, that then becomes what you can, I want to say this right, what you form, right? Because it becomes your thought, and we know thoughts are things. And so it's like, if you have a vision for what it is you want, how you want to live, how you want to guard and protect what is most precious to you, you set a vision for where you want to establish those things, then the only thing left to do is to do it. But first you have to actually have that solid ground. So yeah, I wanted to share that. And then of course where it talks about the wilderness, right? And why we want to live in a more rural environment. I'll share. Akotiafe says story time. I don't think I'm ever really good at the self-disclosure stories, but I'll share. I relocated, right? I'm like, New York, I can't even say Brooklyn because I didn't live in Brooklyn for quite a long time as an adult. But New York born and raised. And then I moved, down south. And it wasn't even about 6 months, I'd say. It wasn't 6 months. I had to go to New York to settle some business with my former investor. And I happened to I stayed in Brooklyn. I stayed in Brooklyn. Let me tell you, now this is 40 plus years of being a New Yorker. I couldn't get out of that city fast enough. It was like the buildings were vibrating. There was so much noise. I wept, literally wept for the people. I had to go, what is it called? Alternate side of the street parking. So I had to go move my vehicle at like 7:00 in the dawning. And I witnessed this poor mother running with 2 toddlers, yelling and cursing and screaming at them to get to, like, she was trying to catch the bus. I saw another young lady, probably like a young lady in high school. The bus driver looked at her and just kept it pushing. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. There was so much clutter. There was so much chaos that I just felt like, and I can't say that where I live is rural or the wilderness, but it was such a far cry, where I am down south was such a far cry from the chaos that was my experience, that Brooklyn dawning, that all I could say is, I have got to get out of here. Like, if I could have packed up my vehicle and left that day, I would have. And I shared that because there's just such a peace when you can shift your priorities to align with your nature. You get peace. You get peace. And that actually takes me to, and I don't know, I'm just gonna flow. So if anybody wants to jump in, peace, brother. Oh, welcome, peace, brother Justin. Of course, welcome, Chief.
Sure. Yeah, I'll just add on while I'm here to contribute. There's a consistent thing that I keep hearing. Can everyone hear me, by the way? Am I clear?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Because I sort of muted. I thought I was.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I thought he was getting ready to tell me he couldn't hear. So, yeah, there's a consistency when we talk about launching and things like that I'm hearing, especially when it comes from the Sisters of I Knew, and I guess it's story time. And this is gonna sound maybe a little weird to people, but if you just listen, you'll get it, because it's an important lesson, very important lesson, in particular for women out there, extremely important. These women don't do anything on their own. Okay, and sometimes a lot of times if I hear Yafe or I'll hear Yakira Eden or even Sister Maria relay a story, they'll tell you the story as if they had an idea, they executed the idea, and then maybe things, and then after they executed the idea, they thought about what they did and came to certain conclusions. That's not the truth. That's not how this happens. And I think because we're so used to functioning inside of Babylon that we're used to relaying things back even a certain way without realizing what we're doing. I told Yafe to go teach those classes. I said, this is what you need to do. Teach the classes. This is how you can do it. And this is why you're going to do it. It wasn't her idea. Okay? And then she wanted me, whatever she does or touches, she asked me to review. Okay, is this the right thing? Is that the right thing? Okay, how can I do it better? Okay, I told Yakira Eden to move. Okay, and when she was complaining about the noise of the elevators and stuff like that, she messaged me. You see? So why am I saying? I'm not saying this to say, oh, y'all ain't giving me my credit. It's not that. But we live in a time now where a lot of times women will listen, or females, because real women don't, but females will listen to even some of these segments that we're presenting, and they'll use it as surrogate masculine leadership. Oh, I listen to Chief, or I listen to the sisters and this and that, and I get my guidance from there. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes with me being the brain of these women and them being the body, that even when they do something, and sometimes they'll do something and don't even know they did it wrong. And I'll say, wait a minute, let's talk that. I don't like how that went, or that was the wrong thing. You didn't do that the way I told you to do it. This is how you got to do it. But then when they relay it back, when they get into their sister circle, they'll be like, I was thinking about something, and I did this project, and I realized I could have did it different. Up there just lying, right? They don't think about anything like that because it wasn't even their ideas to do them in the first place. Right? Now, I need to say this is important because there's a lot of women who come to me regularly, daily, for guidance. Daily. And they're lost. They're walking around in the wilderness lost. And they may listen to some of these other women in I Knew and think, well, if I just listen to I Knew information or read the I Knew way, then I'll be just as directed and just as clear and deliberate in my life recently about this. She was having a lot of issues, and she was like, well, what's the answer? I said, you need a man. That's your answer. But in the meantime, there is no in the meantime. In the meantime, you're going to be lost. And the things you're going to do are wrong. You're going to keep making wrong decisions because you don't know what you're doing. You need to get a man. We serve different purposes in each other's lives. Okay, and it's never, you get a man, he gives you direction and pushes you off from the dock, and you go float and you'll be all right from there. Because women, you are not wired that way. You are wired to need direction for the rest of your lives. That's why you have sons, you have nephews. And when you get older and let's say your man transitions, they guide you, they take care of you, they make certain important decisions for you because you can't make them for yourself. Regardless of how many of these segments you listen to, or regardless of how much you feel. So even when we talk about vision, it's not your vision. And you could go through the entire Anu. Any initiative that you see right now that's happening was my idea. Even these clubhouse meetings were my idea. It was my idea. I said, let's use software so we can broadcast on multiple platforms at the same time. That was my idea. If you look and go back, the first affirmative was me. I did it. Because we were having a meeting, I said we need to start utilizing Clubhouse. And in the middle of the meeting, while we were talking, I went and scheduled a show. Just right there, just to show everybody how it can be done. Right? Now again, this is not a give me my credit. This is not that. This is you understanding the purpose and the value of a man in your experience. Okay, and sometimes we may say things a certain way, word things a certain way, and people who are already looking to lend towards a toxic sort of mindset will grab the wrong things and not realize. You know, it's almost like when you would listen to El Hajj Malik El-Shabazz back in the days. He would always say, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad tells us, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad tells us, to make it clear, this is my teacher, and he's telling all of us this. He didn't just tell, he never said, Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He told me personally. He never said anything like that. To make it clear that everybody has a role in this space, and I can't do it by myself, and I didn't do it by myself. You see, so when you're talking about launching, Earth doesn't launch. Earth sinks. Earth doesn't jump up in the air. The only thing that launches is masculinity. That's the fire coming out of the earth, or that's wind. It's all masculine, but the feminine only sinks down. That's it. Even when you have a tsunami or a great wave, what's inside of it? Air, a man pushing it forward. You see? So for any woman who's listening and soaking this up and like, that makes sense, I can apply that. No, what you go apply for is courtship papers to get yourself a man. And make sure that you're prepared and ready to have that. Because you don't necessarily deserve one just because you throw your hand up and say, I want one. You see, but you got to make sure, are you prepared to receive that? And in order to receive that, you have to respect the interplay that happens. Men are not here to advise you so you can go and fulfill your vision. Men are here to direct you so that you can accompany them in fulfilling their vision. Okay, so every time you hear something, whether it's Sister Maria, whether it's Sister Yafe, whether it's Sister Yakira Eden, they're telling you about some lesson, I promise you, because I'll be listening, I'll be in the background listening, and as I listen, a lot of times I'll be like, what? I told her that. She didn't say that. What is she doing? But you know, they want to protect my identity, and I appreciate that, and they can continue to do that, you know, but the bottom line is, like I'm saying, they're not coming up with any of this stuff. They're not coming, all these cool ideas you see, even the colors they wear, they didn't come up with. I told them, you're going to wear all white and then you can wear all black. That's why when you ever see them in videos together, sometimes you see them all wearing white and gold, and then other times you see them wearing black and silver. That's me, right? Masculinity is important. I know we got a lot of goddess worshipers out here, but that's what just keeps you in a fog and keeps you confused. And that ain't it. That's not where it's at. Where it's at is you get yourself a strong, powerful, directed, righteous patriarch, and you do what he tells you to do. And then your life will look great. Then you'll be able to be down south in your house with his books behind you. See New Ormel back there? You Yakira Eden's background, and you see Solutions, those are my books. You'll be able to be down there with your little plants behind you, and your little pictures behind you, and the little glass vase, and the little pictures, and all that stuff down there. You know what I mean? You'll be able to do that, and you can sit there and see she's smiling. You know what I'm saying? And your life will be better. You won't have the hum of buildings and all that. She has all that because she listened to a man, not because she went and sat somewhere and came up with this great idea. And she's able to sustain herself there because every 7 days, those women I mentioned to you come to me with a problem. And really, it's every day. I'm just saying every 7 days to be kind. They come to me with problems constantly that they can't figure out, or if they would do it their way, it'd be a disaster. You see, now, if you're a man who can't hold it down like that, then you have a serious problem. If you have no guidance to give, especially if you're over 30, if you have no guidance to give, no direction to give, then you are a ruin and a dilapidation to the community. Okay? So I just wanted to, I'm adding on to the bill and everything. We all here building and loving each other, pretending like we like each other. So I'm just going to throw that in there for you.
And this is why I've been saying since I was 5 years old, it got to be in here.
Oh, since you were 5, huh? Take that, Diddy. Take that.
Hey, what was the line when you said it's in the wilderness?
Sure.
Ema Yakira?
Mm-hmm. So that was in the. Do you want me to reread it or tell you where I pulled from?
Just can you say that line one more time, please?
Sure.
If you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. Live in rural environments that allow you to live in coordination with nature. It is in the wilderness that our Creator purges us of the obstacles that exist in the crevices of our heads. And that was from the Vital Edicts, How We Live.
Cool. Thank you kindly. It just made me think of another time when Chief was doing a show, and it was just talking about how one should get out of the city and how the city starts to feminize the men and put the women in masculine positions. Because it's almost like it's like the Matrix. Which one? Matrix 1, Matrix 2,
Dun dun dun! What a surprise! Surprise!
Yo, right? And y'all remember the scene when Neo was in the car and they was pulling the bug out of his stomach, right? They open the door and there's a paved road, like in the middle of a city. And one of the things that they say is, you already know what that looks like, right? When one is in the wilderness, it's almost like there's no, but rather than one living in a city, there's no sense of urgency. There's no, if you're in the wilderness and somebody tells you, don't eat that because you can get really sick and you can die, you have to now take heed to what somebody is saying because your life is on the line. When one now feels more secure, or as they would think they are in the city, quote unquote, then now it's like, oh, I don't have to take heed to what you're saying because I don't feel or I don't think of no imminent danger or an imminent threat that ultimately I can survive, and not only survive, I feel like I can thrive. So now I can start to challenge. You know what? Because now we're going to start looking at equality. We're going to start looking at, we want the men and women. There's no difference between men and women. We can do exactly the same thing. And matter of fact, we're gonna start fighting for equal rights and equal pay. Meanwhile, though, it's like you're looking at a Chihuahua and a Rottweiler. So now the Rottweiler has to take on the consciousness of a Chihuahua to say that now we're both the same. in the city. But when you release them into the wild, now you go, whoa. There is some threat. There's a threat here. We're not the same. I need a Rottweiler to be a Rottweiler out here. Because now there's some imminent threats and imminent danger that now I need to lean on. I need to make sure that there is some direction. I need to make sure that we are launching from solid ground, because if there is no solid ground, if there is no direction, your life now is on the line. Your life is at stake. Your life is at stake right now in the city and don't even know it. So it's just a matter of when I heard that line, it just started making me think of, can one start to see, you know what, let me start making some better decisions here. Let me not think that I'm glorifying something or saying, look, I don't got to listen to nobody, or I have this pseudo mate that I can listen through one of a sister that talks to Chief's cousin's uncle, and they're going to give me some great advice, or I know what I'm saying, as opposed to me doing everything other than what has been told to me to do. So, yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Give thanks. You know, there's nothing like the reliable Aki Zach coming through with those innovative Matrix references. But I actually do appreciate what of course, Chief's disclosure. Yeah, I definitely. It is. Let me just say thank you. Thank you for making it clear that no, these aren't, my thoughts and my plans at all. I do try to acknowledge that, but yeah, I'm going to be a lot clearer. Because I think that would make it easier for other women or females to understand, like, this is the formula. The formula is clear. And we talk about it, right? Being obedient and listening and headship and the woman being the body. But she just made it plain. So there you have it.
Yeah, but if y'all talking about it and in these moments y'all ain't doing it, what's that saying?
Right. That's saying there's more growing to do.
That's a nice way to put it. See, I don't mind doing it on the air. I don't mind.
And this mouth teacher, right? She didn't always stand on us, because if she asks us for the answer to a question, and it sounds like a question mark is at the end of our answer.
Wait.
She would always say, don't ask me, tell me. Right.
It means there's more growing to do. It means, yeah.
It means that there's a feminist in you that is still fighting for control. And she, one of the ways that she gains control is by diminishing the man or men who have gotten you where you are. Like all feminists do. Feminists run around with picket signs, but they don't know how to chop no wood and make a freaking handle for the sign. But they run around with the picket sign. You know what I mean? Like, the whole system, that the platform that you're standing on is supported by patriarchy. And you need that platform for your very survival. So it's the same thing here, right? So we get on and we say, yeah, because I had this idea. You had no damn idea. You never have any ideas. When I sit, let me tell y'all how this goes. When I sit these women in a circle and I say, okay, what do you want to do? They're silent. They're so silent, sometimes I hang the phone up on them. That's how silent, that's how still they are. I be banging the line on them. All right, I'm out. You ain't gonna waste my night with all these blank faces. Because there ain't nothing there. There's nothing there. Except for potential. You see, I don't need anything to be there. Sometimes when I say, all right, y'all got ideas on this and ideas on that, and sometimes they'll throw some dumb ideas. They'd be so stupid that you don't even have to really respond. You just sit there and go, really? Okay, no, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Right, so why'd you say it? Just to have something to say? Close your mouth. You see, See, you got to be honest about this. You got to be honest about what it is. So that shows you the work that I have done with these women. Every sister who's come into Anu has come into Anu masculine. Every last one. Some still are. Some still sneak around their men or tell their men what to do, or got their men ducking around them and stuff like that. I don't do none of that, man. You gonna duck around me? I ain't ducking around you, and I'm never gonna sneak around you. You know. And we just talking about a covering initiative, and we ain't talking about full-fledged. You know, you in my bed every night. It's even worse. Imagine that. We just talking about covering. You see, but this is why, you know, and I'm thinking about this too. Yeah, I jumped right in on what you was talking about because you know you're over here trying to skip around it. So they're just coming forward, be like, yeah, I'll be doing that. I'll be doing that. Yeah, and Yafe's going. You know,
I'm not going. I just listening.
But you didn't jump up and be like, yeah, that's true. I did just do that.
I didn't realize. I thought I said I was just stressing.
You see how they lie? See how they lie?
I'm sorry. Give thanks. I was trying to protect that identity.
What does that mean? Wait, hold. Give thanks for what? What do you say? Why did you just throw that in there? That didn't even fit into what we were talking about.
I'm nervous. I just say thank you and I'm nervous.
God bless. Y'all no star.
Just start bowing. Just start bowing, right? Like, thank you. Yes. Bless you.
You try to calm down like you try to calm down a pit bull.
Right.
Nice. Thanks. Nice. Ain't nobody jumping on you.
Okay, Chief told me to do the podcast.
Yeah, it's too late. I already said it. No, I already said it. Everything. Come on, man. This is what I'm talking about. Everything. Yeah, the podcast, the book, all that. That's all me. We ain't even gonna talk about the health benefits.
Yeah.
Talk about the health benefits?
No.
Because somebody done lost a whole nother person they were carrying. Oh my God, I can't believe he told him that. Yeah, he told him. You should have said it before I said it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and she quiet now. Look at oh God. I hate him. I hate his guts. She gonna be punching into a pillow later. I hate his guts. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. Until you, what you saying? I ain't gonna act like you tongue tied. Go ahead.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
When I said you lost a whole nother person.
Yeah.
Oh, Yafe. Come on. I'm like.
You see how they do.
I'm like, I'm trying not to say anything.
Who is this person?
Let's do this.
Who was she?
How much were you spending on trainer and gym before you got descended from the clouds? I know the exact number. You probably don't know the exact number because I don't know your finances better than you.
I don't remember the exact number.
$1,190.
Oh my God, so much money.
Per month. $1,190 per month. Do you remember what I said when I said? Yeah, see, this is stuff we need to be talking about. Let's talk about some real things. Then I said, no, you're gonna get a retro fitness membership for $19.99. What you say? Right, that's exactly what she said. The machines are filthy. She never even been inside of one. They don't clean the machines. This is what she said. You see?
But it down. Like it was cool. It was fine.
Yeah, I know it was fine. And how fine do we know it was? Because how much was lost at the hands of Chief Yuya, who descended from the clouds? I won't even do that to you. I won't do that to you.
I think I did talk about it. It's okay. I think I said.
Well, then talk about it again, eh? Right, exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. I don't remember that. Well, there's old pictures out there.
It's in the archive somewhere. It's in the archive.
Let's just say she's like an entirely different person. And a lot of things was lost. I'm not going to do it to you. But you know, there's some people who wouldn't recognize you at this point.
Yeah.
So, this is what I'm saying. When y'all sitting here, y'all some powerhouses coming through the scene. And I had this side. You ain't had no freaking ideas. Y'all ain't had no ideas. That's not how you're wired. And the less ideas you have, the better you are. I repeat, the less ideas you have, the better you are. There's nothing more annoying to me and vexing to my spirit when a woman comes to me and tells me that she wants me to help her make her dreams come true. There's nothing more annoying than that. Because I know there's a 7.5 out of 10 chance that your dream is going to be something stupid. I almost used the R word, the R-tard word, but R-tarded. There's a 7.5, 10 chance, 7.5 out of 10 that your idea is going to be dumb. So the majority of the time, I got to work with you to show you the stupidity of your idea and put you in another direction. Every woman who came into I Knew came in like that. And masculine. Every single one. Many of them left because they were super masculine and couldn't win. Came in trying to win, came in loud and all of that. And there's no budging here. I don't have to be loud to be who I am. But there's no budging. You ain't moving me around. Right? So this is what I'm saying. As we talk, let's talk about what it really is, because we live in such an ugly time right now where there are adult males imposturing themselves as me and my boys, and my brothers. I'm talking about real men. There are adult males imposturing that aesthetic. And there are adult girls who are imposturing both. They're trying to be adult men and they're trying to be adult women, and they're neither. So there are certain qualities that must be present. And there's a fine line of understanding that many of you miss. It's like y'all come like, didn't I say it? She knows she didn't say it. She knows she didn't say it. You see? But that's that demon inside. That's that feminist demon that's gonna play those games. You know, people gonna listen to this and be like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. But I don't care, because those are idiots. I don't care what idiots think. You see? That's how that works. So go ahead, don't be quiet now. Yeah, there's Maria. Maria just jumped in listening. She's another one. You see what I'm saying? So if you really want to do a service to men and women, I mean, this is where, and I'm not saying that y'all are just out here trying to steal my stuff or anything like that. I think there's just a culture that we're just used to, kind of like, well, I'm a woman, I should know something. You almost feel like you're dumb if you're not able to do what a man can do. But then how do you distinguish what the man is doing from what the woman is doing? You see, now we know some of the things that I don't do, right? What are some of the things that I don't do? I am not as ritually consistent as the women are. Every other Friday, you're going to see Maria. You're going to see Yakira Eden doing these clubhouse and all this stuff. I ain't doing all that. I get bored way too quick. Even my podcast don't come out. I was, for a while I had it. It was going good. 12 o'clock every Tuesday, then midnight, then Wednesday. I'm still doing it, but I'm bored. I mean, I don't want to keep doing this at the same time. I can't do it. You see? So we all have something that we are genius at, and we have some things that we're not wired for. And if we can start speaking to that honestly, then we can really give people the food that they need. Because what happens is that when you misrepresent that, you'll have people checking themselves like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? Or why can't I do that? Not realizing that there's so much more to that story than people are sharing with you. So much more to it. Go on, Yakira Eden. You ain't got to just fall back in the background. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it.
I'm here. No,
See, because when I start talking, they get real quiet. This is usually
when Chief speaks, we listen. No.
35 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't even know who Eva Hutton was. Okay.
Eva Hutton reference.
Okay.
TV commercial. They already had TVs anymore.
Well, thank you.
So how are we gonna fix this? How are we gonna set things up so that women can launch properly?
Right. So the only way for a woman to launch properly is to have a foundation. And as you said, the foundation is a righteous man. Period. No.
Nope.
No.
Wrong.
What?
Wrong.
What?
See, this is what I'm saying. This is why men, you got to be in charge, because women have terrible memories. They always running something back wrong. This is another reason.
I remember.
Go ahead. You say it then. You
Don't be a feminist.
A menace? What'd you say? Don't be a menace? What'd you say?
Don't be a feminist. But
A feminist.
Nope, wrong. See what I'm saying?
Dang
They
it.
don't listen. This is why I tell you, man, when you telling things, saying things to women, short sentences, just a few words. Because they get confused quick. You see this? And I know y'all like, I can't believe he talking. He said, they all right. They know who they are. They know.
I thought you said get you a man. Get you a righteous man.
Get you a man. Get you a man. That's what I said.
No, not like that. No, not like
G-I-T-C-H.
get you. C-H-U.
M-A-A-A-N.
One of the menses. No.
Get you a man. I didn't say that.
No.
Yeah, I said, how do we get these women to launch?
Okay.
What did I say in reference to that?
Maria, you up?
She wasn't here. Nah, it ain't her fault.
Tag you in. She was on YouTube. She's here. She's with us. You better get on the podium.
You want to know why you can't get it right? You wasn't listening. Do your blogs. Exactly. You see, this is why you need a man.
Oh, man.
This is why you need a man. See what I'm saying?
All right, because fire. Okay, yes, you said fire.
The earth launch itself. It only sinks. So,
fire launches.
There go my ego.
Dang.
The thing is, you are not launching. You grabbing onto a star. That's what you're doing. You looking for the man who is launching, and you trying to hook yourself to him.
The righteous man.
That's not gonna bring it down.
Let it go. Okay.
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 You should start throwing words out there. Yahusha.
Right. Wisdom. Knowledge.
See, Hebrews, the Negroes. Now you're gonna try to just no. I know all the tricks you get ready to try to do. Okay, no. Okay. So women ain't launching into nothing. And when they do launch into stuff, all they do is crash their rocket back into the earth.
Right.
And they keep doing that over and over and over again. And then later in life, with this old banged up, raggedy rocket, they say, where's the good men at? Like I want you to tow your raggedy rocket to my beautiful ship. But if you prepared yourself to be the launch pad that you're supposed to be, because don't we launch from the earth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to prepare yourself to be the launching pad. Now, can you sustain the weight of the man that you would want to launch from you where you can grab onto him? I know your I knew woman answer is yes. Of course, and use me in the I knew way. I know all the games y'all play at this point. Okay. I know the games. But that's what we should be talking about. How do we get the women to a point where they can be proper earth?
Right. Okay.
If every time you plant a mental seed and she forgets it, there's two things happening there. One, that means because if I plant seeds and they don't stick, that means there's a wind that's blowing them away. And wind is what, ladies?
Masculine.
Wind is masculine.
Masculine. Right. That means there's another man already speaking to her, whisking away whatever I'm trying to implant. That's why whenever I talk, y'all can't remember what I said. You see? But if I talk to my children, they'll say, oh, Baba, y'all was about to do this thing, and I just kept hearing your voice, right? Because I'm the only voice you got right now. Maybe for the rest of your life, you're going to be, I heard Baba say, no, dummy, don't do it that way. You see? Yeah, I'm going to tell you something horrible about me. Because I don't care about what none of y'all think. I grabbed my son's phone the other day, right? Because I had called him on the phone. We were trying to find the phone. And no, how was it? No, he was calling my phone. I'm sorry. I was like, yo, you gotta try to find my phone. Something like that. I don't remember. However it went, his contact for himself under his phone, y'all gonna be like, man, that's horrible. But I don't care what y'all think. His contact for himself on his phone was DUM, dumb little N-word. And I was like, why you got yourself on your phone today? He's like, 'cause that's what you call me all the time. So that's what I put as my contact. You see? So I know y'all like, oh, I thought he was chief. I thought he was. I don't care what you think. All right? You don't know that. You don't know that boy. Okay? You don't know him like I know him. There's a spirit in him. So the point I'm saying is that, yeah, my voice is loudest to them because they have not been adulterated. So in order to be the proper platform, you got to remove all of it. And I'm looking on YouTube while I'm talking, Yakira Eden. I see you over there laughing at me. In order to properly receive and be that platform, you have to make sure there's no winds of noise of other masculine energies trying to direct and undermine what's supposed to be planted. This is a lively discussion.
Yes.
It's the silence you were talking about earlier.
No, I was.
It'll go even longer than this. They'll sit there for like 2, 3. You know what I do sometimes?
Oh, I don't.
I will literally just, like, while I'm waiting, I'll just put my thing on mute and I'll go grab my guitar and just start playing songs. And I've written songs waiting for them. I've written songs. And then, you know what they come back with usually? I understand what you're saying. Then they get on YouTube and Clubhouse and be like, yeah, because you know, we be coming up with ideas, we be building, we got a brain trust. We're a brain trust. You know what I mean? The way our minds work, we can teach a master class.
Oh my God.
Right? That's what we're doing. We're giving it to you for free.
Tell them like really mad.
Oh my
That's how they come at
goodness.
y'all. But then when the lights go out, they just be
Well.
All right.
Right. Why you calling women out there like that?
No, we still ain't heard nothing. All you hear is a bunch of sound effects to fill up silence.
No.
That's good. Their first reaction is to defend, but they know they can't defend against me. So what comes is silence. That's good, because a sick woman would have left the conversation. Once she realizes she can't defend because she sees it as an attack, then she gets loud, plays victim. Once she sees you're too smart to let her play victim, then she finds a way to get out the space. So a woman who still sits there like, yeah, that's true. All right, well then what's my next orders? Your liege.
All right, let me get the tape recorder. Make sure I don't forget. Oh, goodness gracious.
No, so much. Why is there so much suffering in the world? They're trying to get you like that. That's the right thing. But see, that's not what they're teaching. They're teaching, if you dream about a vision, you got the vision in your mind, and get out of here with that.
No.
If you have a good implanter of that vision, then you can grab on to the momentum of their vision, but there has to be momentum. Because sometimes you'll be with a guy and he's like Earth too. He's got a bunch of potential, but he's not moving anywhere. That means you're not going to move anywhere. And then whatever winds that are whisking around you, whatever children that you may squeak through and they're able to produce, they're just going to be dragged away by the winds. Because the passive winds that are around you are stronger than his propulsion. That's how you end up losing your children to Babylon. because the father doesn't have strong propulsion.
So it's not just. Oh, I'm sorry, Yakira.
No, I was not gonna let there be no dead end. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
All right, I was just saying, because it is a real common issue. Like I hear about it a lot in terms of the masculine females that men say that they're just done with, and on the feminine side is, oh, it's just not no good man out here. You know, I've seen a couple of instances where females would go after the weaker men just to strengthen that narrative in their head that there's no strong men, and try to find strong women to sort of further the narrative in their head that all women are just naturally strong. It's just society that's keeping them down, and that's like the masculine that they adhere to. So no matter what, even if they do get with a man that has direction or propulsion, they try to hammer that in. They try to attack him with their actual man's logic, you know, and then they leave. Which is like it's like in my hard words, it's like the feedback loop where you keep trying to strengthen the feeling that you love instead of being in the moment.
Give thanks, Pastor Benelek, for what you added to the build. Okotiafe, you're unmuted. Did you want to jump in?
You see, now what they should have did, they should have built off what you just said.
I was
What you just said.
I'm sorry.
okay. I'm not sure your mic is open, but so when you spoke about those feminist women or those women seeking, you know, weak males, it does create it does create or it perpetuates a particular narrative, or at least I think it does, because that then becomes the reality that they create. So it's like, well, we see what's about to come, so we all need to now go get gun licenses because we all we got. When the reality is that that's not going to be what you need. But what you need is so far from you, which is, right, softening or being called out so that you can recognize, oh man, I'm pretty crystallized in this masculine facade. That's what's on me and in me, which is actually the definition of wicked. Right? That's the definition.
See how you skipped around it though?
Skipped around what? I'm sorry.
What they really need is softening, and then you went to start explaining more things. No. What they really need is a man.
Yes.
But you didn't say that.
Okay. Thank you.
You see, there's still something that keeps us from saying that out loud. It's hard to state. Because okay, you tell a woman you need to be softer. She says, I can't be soft. I'm out here by myself. I got to handle things. And then she says, and then you say, well, how could you ever acquire a man if you're so hard? Well, you know, right now, in the meantime, until he shows up, this is what I got to be. So it becomes circular. Instead of just saying, what you need is a savior. Everybody needs a Messiah.
Right.
And the man is your Messiah.
Yes.
Period. Well, why are we scared to say that?
I don't know.
But you got a feminist spirit. One of them. You just did it.
I just did it. Okay. Yeah. Then it is that.
So why are you scared to say it?
Because I still have a latent.
That's what I just said. Does she see what they do? They just copy the last thing you said.
If you know it's right. What do you say?
Yeah, but there's other things that's right too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look how your sister's just leaving you out there.
I mean, that's okay. That's what happens.
I don't know the answer either.
It's fine.
I don't know.
It's fine. I mean, I think I do it because it's not the feminism. I mean, yeah, they said that. Give thanks. Tucked here. It's not the. Oh God. No. It's not the popular thing to say, and so it's like, well, how can I say this without? How do I say this without saying it directly, which is not acceptable?
Right, exactly.
It's not
how do I say
acceptable.
it without saying it directly? And saying it directly is the only way we can start to heal.
Right.
And who told you you can't say it directly?
Those who need to hear it. Masculine energy. Right. Those who need to hear it, really. Yeah.
So then who are you really answering to?
Right.
Who's really your light? Who's really controlling you?
Babylon.
No, the answer isn't right. The answer is the answer. What's the answer?
Babylon.
Oh.
Babylon.
The government. I don't know what to.
That feminist perspective.
Illuminati. That feminist perspective.
Yeah.
No, but it's masculine. But it's that whatever masculine.
I think I just said it.
You know who's controlling you?
I think I just said it.
Whatever woman you think is going to hear this, whatever woman's going to hear this broadcast, your friend, your cousin, your aunt, whoever you think is going to hear this broadcast and hear what you just said, that's who's controlling you.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not the government. See how you try to make it abstract? The feminine perspective. No. There are specific people that you can write down on the name. That the fear went through your head when you said, like, I can't. Or what if I apply for a job and someone gets a hold of this tape and hears me say something like this? I'm never working.
Too late now. We're too far gone.
Well, I'm the one saying it, so y'all like, it's me, right? And I'm not looking for a job, so eyes free. So eyes can say what I want. I used to have to say Motisa, but I don't have to say that no more. You see, I says what I want. I goes where I want. Okay, and I sleep on a pine wood floor every night. So this is what I.
Goodness gracious.
And it don't take much coughing for me to get a swig of Master's whiskey to quiet my cough.
Coughing?
What?
Yeah, see, memory. It's from Roots.
It's from Roots, yeah.
That's your heritage. You should know Roots.
Was that Fiddler?
I don't remember.
I knew that was Fiddler.
So this is what I'm saying. That fear is a real entity. Fear is a real thing. You can practically touch it. You know you can touch it because you can feel its somatic reaction within your body.
Yeah.
That's what you're afraid of. What am I going to lose by being truthful? Because even if this was just Chief Yuya theory, it's been applied in your life. So you'd have to say, well, shoot, where was I before this cat showed up?
Right.
You see, but we don't tell that story. And that's unfortunate. Even when you talk about, hey, come join Anu. You know how many women tell me that they're intimidated to come into Anu because they listen to the shows and stuff, and it seems like everybody's so smart and has this stuff together.
We don't.
No, we janky. Come on over. We janky. We all
No, what does janky mean? What does that mean?
Yeah. We're still feminists. We're still afraid to speak.
What does that mean? How does it manifest itself?
That we don't have it all together. Everything.
No, but what does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything.
That people are still lying up in here.
You see how you still won't pinpoint. You can be clear on your fear, but you're not clear on your mechanisms that are produced by the fear. Like, I'm not afraid. Yeah, I be calling my son all the time. Hey, man, you look dumb. What did I tell you? I call them imbeciles, idiots. Not the girls, though. Never the girls. And that's always a big contention in the house. Like, why are you always so nice to them? Yeah, because they're girls. It's different. You know what I mean? It's different. That's why. Dude, go ahead and do what I told you. You see what I mean? Now, you might be like, oh, but Chief is supposed to be more advanced. The Chief is more advanced than that. So that means I'm doing something that you don't understand. Mind your business. Just mind your business, man. So what I'm saying is that, I don't know that reference either. That was like another 40 years.
I do know that reference.
Well, of course you do, because you're your age is Eddie Murphy. Of course, you were there in the audience.
I was not there.
Oh my.
You were there. You were there. So,
I thought it was.
so the point I'm saying is that let's try to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody will relate to that and not hopefully relate to it as, oh, that's how y'all dysfunctional like that. Well, cool, I could bring my dysfunction in. Hopefully it's not that. But there's nothing wrong with sharing the victory, the story, the path. This year we were here, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here.
Okay.
Because I knew it was so potent. And y'all can attest to this. Every 7 days you have aha moments.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yep.
So why not share the growth that's coming forth from those aha moments?
We can, definitely.
All
I
right,
can.
Go ahead, do it. You got it. On your mark, set, go.
Oh.
So a few years ago, I was like 260 pounds.
Oh, come on, man. Nobody, we over that now. You was 260.
Yeah.
We want something new. We knew you was something ready to do something. We over that.
What?
Yeah, she was darn near 280. Word to Warren Beatty. You heard?
I actually knew I had.
You know what I mean? Word to Warren Beatty. She was almost 280. You know, from the young, everything we say got to be a rhyme for it. You know, for it to stay. You know what I'm saying? But
I wasn't too big. That's too much.
You're right, it was too much. I wasn't 280, I was 260. What? That wasn't too much?
It's too much. It's all too much. It's too much. It's too much.
Too much.
Come on, I was on crack. Get it right. Show me receipts.
Houston said crack is whack.
So this is what I'm saying. But we already covered that. So I already cracked that door.
Well, I don't. Okay.
What else you got?
I mean, I just had one, right? Like, I'm here.
It ain't good. I'm gonna call you out.
I'm here and I'm sharing each and every strong, but I'm still afraid to be.
Yeah, I called you out on that.
I just said that was an aha moment, though. Like, you called it out, and it was like,
How is it an aha moment?
If you called it out.
Yeah, that's not your aha moment. See, this is exactly what
I'm massaging my brain. If you can see me on YouTube, I'm letting it. It was like, aha.
But I said it. It wasn't. No, I explained it to you. Yeah, see, and then you'll come back into the women's group and be like, guess what, y'all? I came to a moment. I figured something out.
No.
No, what you got?
There's a lot of stuff, but
See how they do? See how they do? This is how they do. See how they do?
let's see.
Yeah. Anything I say at this point is going to be what you've already said.
Oh, well, okay.
Because I know some other things about y'all. Would you like me to see?
No.
You don't want me to say
No.
What's happening? What's happening right now?
Everything. I got bank balances. I got recordings. I got screens. Don't get me to going.
Oh my.
Okay. Finances. Can I do that one? Can I do that one?
No, because I like the way you ask. You're trying to be cute. Can I do that one? What did you try to do? This ain't romper room. You're trying to be cute now. So whatever you confess is gonna be cute. Sometimes I see dirty pennies on the street and I know I should pick them up and I don't. And I'm just like, oh my God, like it's disgusting, but I gotta get better with that. Give thanks.
I'm sorry.
Don't be cute with me.
I'm sorry. And just to acknowledge, Akoti Maria did try to join the podium, but for some reason I can't let her in or up. So if you can try again, Akoti Maria. Pardon. Just wanted to say that. Okay, yeah. An aha moment. I don't know.
You see, you see how they already changed the instructions. Okay.
What?
Huh? Right. What were y'all struggling with last month that you're getting better with this month based on instruction?
I was struggling with completing.
And I said y'all. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna now hang in the background.
I'll say one of the things. I was struggling. What? You said what happened?
No, stop trying to change the subject. We right here.
Okay. I was struggling with completing the book that I was instructed to write. Heck, I was struggling with organizing this beautiful. Yeah, let me do that one. I was struggling with organizing my new office space. I wasn't doing it. And so then I can't even say this was an aha moment other than aha, you can't be
It wasn't an aha moment
BS.
because you sent me a picture and I said that's crazy. Because you had the nerve
Cozy.
to say cozy.
I said it was cozy.
Yeah, and I called you out on that. So what was the aha?
Right. So it wasn't okay. So the aha moment was once I actually created the space, I realized that it inspired me to do something else that was already on my list, which is to be more industrious. And so I was able to say, I wasn't able to say, but I was able to connect to what had already been instructed that I should build something or be more creative.
This is terrible. This
No.
is just terrible.
Oh.
So you're saying that once you did what I told you to do, you didn't realize that you could do something else that I told you to do.
Yeah.
That's not. You see how low the bar is here? You see this?
That's what I'm saying. And then I built something. And it was like, aha.
Had a little help with that too, didn't you?
Yeah, a lot. I did.
Were you showing it when you were showing it off to the women and I knew? Because they told me about it. Did you mention that somebody?
Yes, that I received instructions, and I did.
I don't think you did.
What?
Is that the thing that you brought up in the study group when you said you built something? And I was like, you built a trebuchet?
And I didn't know what that was. Yeah, it was on your
My name didn't come up, did it, Master Middle?
I didn't know your name.
Oh my goodness! Everything I do is okay.
I
So
was in
from
the
now,
room, so I gotta make sure I keep my name clear.
you know what? From
So
now
they
on.
got women running around here thinking that you could be anything, girl. You could be a carpenter. You could be
No, wait a minute. I literally told them before. I said all of this was instructed and facilitated by headship. And I said to ask your head, yeah, Sister Yape, come on, you're the only sister here.
Yes, but I would, yeah, she did say that, but I also said instructed that that's not enough. Clearly, it's not enough. We have to say.
Chief Yuya said, okay.
Told me to do.
Chief Voldemort.
Right.
I'll take that because you know what? If somebody comes to my house and I have some tasty leftovers and I know I didn't make them, because I'm not gonna be in the kitchen with an apron on, and I know a woman made them for me, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, well, you know how I do. And that has happened to me before. There's times I had women taking me to the airport to go fly out to see another woman. And women say, oh, how was your flight? Everything else cool. I had my other chick, she dropped me off. I'm telling the truth. Yeah. So you need to thank her. Instead of being mad with her, thank her. Because if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't be juggling these. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? So this is what I'm saying. Because we're not talking about how we're really interacting with each other. We're leaving that part out for some weird reason. I mean, we know the reason. You see?
All right, so
what's yours, Yafe?
I don't even know. There's so many. There's so many.
If it's so many, you should be able to pick one easy.
I know. Well, I did say about the class.
See how you pretending like you can't remember nothing? See that?
No,
I could just pull up, because see, here's another thing y'all don't know about. I have them check in with me every day before 9 a.m. It's a whole form they have to send me every single day. I give them one day off. That's Saturday. They don't have to do a check-in.
What's happening?
But every day, today they got to check in. So if you want, I could read your check-in from today, Yafe. Would you like me to do that?
No, I'm sorry.
I'm cracking up right now. This is like.
Yakira Eden is like, well, how did this go?
What happened?
I was trying to have a nice session. So he told me to wear white. I do it. Why did it? Yeah. This is a public forum.
Oh God.
To be here. Okay?
Yes.
I'm allowed. I started this.
First of all, you did.
Okay.
You did.
Anybody can't hear it. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It won't be no clue. All right. Yeah, ain't nobody out there screaming your name. They screaming Chief.
Yep. There you go.
So, yeah, come on. See how hard it is?
No, I actually am going through my check-in.
How'd the Red Rap event go?
But
when you ran it back down to the women, did you tell them the actual conversation that was had?
No, but I said...
I know you did. I know you did. You told them you came to some realization about how you could have did it better, which was the total opposite of what actually happened.
I said it was a fail.
See, now, instead of looking for the right words to try to get out of the statement, why don't you just drop all that for a moment and let the angel come forth instead of the other thing? You can't outmaneuver me. It's impossible. You can't outmaneuver me. You're
okay.
Geostorm trying to race a Lamborghini.
I don't know.
A neon.
I don't know.
Yeah, Geostorm had 3 cylinders.
I don't know.
You don't know what that means, right?
I don't.
Exactly. So that right there proves my point. Okay. How did the event go?
The event did not go well.
Okay.
As expected.
Now, why did you do the event? Let's go all the way back. Let's see the process.
Because I was instructed to do Red Rap.
Nope. See, this is why dudes don't know. They don't know what to do. Nobody's being real with them. We were walking to the post office. And I. She had to handle something up north, and I was up north at the time. Yes. Yeah. You didn't forget. And I had to make a run to the post office. We were going to the post office, and we were walking by this park, and in the park, they were doing this community event. So in my mind, I immediately said she needs to go over there and go meet some people. She didn't say anything. So when we're coming back from the post office, she says something about, oh, you're going to go do this now? I said, well, I'm going to tell you what you're going to go do. You're going to go across the street to that park, was, networked, met some people, and that's how she hooked up the event for the East Flatbush thing we did, the last one. You see? Now, you wouldn't even know because that part of the story is not told. So what you don't understand, what's happening in a man's mind is that he's constantly thinking about the mission and how to advance the mission. Every second, every minute, every hour of the day. She's probably not even thinking about that. She's thinking about whatever. You know, I don't know what they think about freaking rainbows and freaking coyotes or something. I don't know. But a man is always thinking about advancing the mission. So his job is to constantly disseminate and distill the strategic plans of that mission into the people around. So I didn't deal with her on the operational side. Hey, you need to go over there and do this. I didn't say, now, when you go over there, make sure you look at the people in the eye. I ain't doing that. That's the operational part that I trust that she can do on her own. Now, the event was not what it should have been because Yafe did not have the vision firmly cemented in her mind as to the purpose of the event. So it was an event, and it was good things that happened, but it wasn't all that it could have been because she lost grip of the mission. That's a very nice way I just put that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I hooked you up. See, this is what the sisters need to hear. This is what the men need to hear. How do we actually work together? This is the important information. We can talk about the theory all day. You're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, and I knew we do this and we do it. Come on. What does that really look like? And what does it look like when it goes left? As it does so very often. Then we can talk about what about when we hit the mark? What does it look like when it's good? Maria's here. Oh, she was here. She's gone again. She dropped back out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. On my end, it doesn't even show her here. I've been trying to add her. Okay, it looks like she left again. What to answer the question, what it looks like? Am I answering what it looks like when it works?
I'm not asking questions. We just rapping.
We just rapping.
Darian's here. Darian's rapping.
Ain't nobody said nothing.
Zach's rapping.
It's like the sister grill. Okay.
Y'all don't like a little heat? I thought you
I don't
like
mind.
barbecue.
I don't mind. You know what? We take it. We take it. We take it. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Mariah. Okay. Brothers, do y'all want to add anything?
Getting that Sabbath again. Going back to good ground. It made me think of what Akizak brought up earlier about children, and them being able to launch from good ground as well. Because of the issue of us not being able to get together, there's not really that much good ground. And it's like there's more sinking happening. There's nothing solid to launch from. They don't know what to do in education. They don't know how they're supposed to interact with other people, or how they're supposed to interact with the complementary sex. So they're figuring it out from that same masculine spirit that their mother typically falls prey to. So how do we get back to it? I had this thought going around my head for like a month now, and I've seen it play out a lot. I've seen a lot of women treat each other the way that supervillains treat each other. Like supervillains, if they're on the same page, they're on the same page. But the minute one of them decides they want to do something a little bit more righteous, they're expendable. Like, you just cut them off. Like, oh, he died because he was weak. And I see it a lot with
women who are trying to be women, you know, who say, "Oh, I'm submissive to my man. He makes all the decisions, and I do what he says," and they get treated like house niggas, you know. And that's a part of the fear that women have. Part of the fear that a lot of men have is, well, if I'm masculine, then I'm going to be called toxic, you know, with a lot of the males, because men don't care. You know, and it takes a while before you can move from the imbalanced place to the balanced place. But you need those examples. You know, you need those examples. What Chief had said was kind of an aha moment that I had, where I'd shared a David Goggins clip, and it was a clip of him saying that, like, people usually see him, like, if you know who David Goggins is, he's like a Navy SEAL, and you typically see him running, always doing something, encouraging people to get up and do what they're supposed to do. But on one interview, he's like, "I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this all the time. Like, people look at me like I'm some sort of superhuman who came from heaven, you know, but sometimes I wake up and I'm staring at my shoes for 30, 40 minutes before I get up and do it. You know, I get up and do it anyway, but it's not like, oh, like people used to say to me, "Oh, he can, oh, you're smart, so you don't have to worry about that." You know, even though I grew up thinking I was dumb, you know, and I had to work extra hard because I'm always like an airhead. Like, people say stuff to me that should be common sense, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I used to think I was dumb. I used to sit and listen. It's like none of what these people are saying is what I think about, you know. So sometimes it comes as a shock because I'm always looking at what I don't have. Okay, I don't have this, I don't have that. You know, and one of Chief's segments, he talked about self-assessment, and it was like, you have to focus on what you did in the situation. Like, if you have a situation that you're dealing with, whether it's a relationship or, you know, you're doing a project or anything, at the end of it, before you start something else, you should look and say, well, what happened? What did I do wrong? What was my role in it? You know, and that'll help you to assess your performance. But you also should keep track of your achievements as well as your failures. You know, so one of the aha moments was like, my sister saw the clip and she was like, she called me a superhero. And I was like, what you talking about? Because all I'm thinking about is what I need to do, like shortcomings. You know, and she was like, yeah, you can do anything. You know, I was like, yeah, right back at you. But what stuck with me was the initial, like, you know, like, I don't know what to do with that information. Because I'm here stuck on the, you don't have this right, or you don't have that right. You know, but if the person looks at you like you're this superhuman, then sometimes it can give them an excuse to not try. Because it's like, oh, that person's just built different. I can't do it. You know, so I was saying all that to even get back to the point of I'm intimidated to join Anu because everyone seems like they have it all together. You know, which we don't always have it all together, and we're very good at putting our best foot forward. You know, in public space, even though we get called out a lot in the back end.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Akizak. I'm sorry, Akizak. You have the auto tune going?
Yeah.
He might have picked up the Boost mobile phone one time for the one time. Now you're good. Now you're good. Yeah, it did sound like that. Buy me a drink or something.
All right, that's all right. You know, I'm like my brother, I'm getting money. Well, I'm getting money. You know what I'm saying? So that might get easy. You know what I mean? Hey, but it's something that what Master Menelik had just touched on. And it made me me think of a couple things from the Anu Way and another show that she did with, I can't think of that lady's name. Whatever that movie that just came out. But one of the things that it says in the Anu Way, it says that you need not ask what you should be doing. If you're actually ingesting the teachings, then you will know what one should be doing, right? But now going back to what Master Middleton has just touched on, of talking about that superhero, and one of the shows that Chief had talked about was a hero's journey, and one can get caught up now in watching certain things that is just this an onslaught of skipping the journey and going straight to being a hero. So I was one of the shows that he mentioned was She-Hulk, and there was nothing that this lady did in order to get to being a Hulk, in order to get to being where she was. She just ultimately inherited all of this wonderful magic from the Hulk himself, from an accident or whatever may have you. But it skips the whole journey of one actually going through heartache, of one actually going through some pitfalls, of one actually going through some things that are going to trip them up, that ultimately are going to get them to where they want to be. And when you skip that whole story, it starts to give one a false promise of thinking that I can get there too without actually having to go through any heartache, without actually going through any loss, without actually going, hey, anytime I get on to do my midday affirmative, I still get anxiety to this day. Like, I'll start shaking and I have to breathe, right? But it's one of those, are you going to start to speak on some of the things that you're going to, or is it like, oh yeah, I woke up like this, right? And you turn on a song, and I did. It's not like that. It's not like that day in, and it's not like that day out. Is one willing to put in the work to take on a hero's journey in order to now, there's some times where you're going to have to do push-ups and it's raining and you're not going to want to do it. There's going to be some times that you're going to be afraid and you're going to feel like you have no resources or nothing to do it, but you're going to have to do it anyway, doing it afraid. There's going to be times where you're going to look around and you're going to be like, oh man, I feel like I'm by myself, and you're never by yourself. You are always with yourself. That's another show that she did. Again, it's all there. If you're willing to invest in yourself, if you're willing to invest in what is put in front of you, and willing to invest and say, you know what, I am going to lean on somebody that knows more than me. That's how I got to what I knew. I was trying to help some other people out, and I didn't know what to tell them. Now I'm looking for, hey man, say this affirmation because that's what it says online. I Googled it. Or that's what this person says on their website, and they got a lot of followers on there. It must be right. And then now all of a sudden, as we're trying to apply this stuff and it's not working, I'm like, look man, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to call into this show and see if we can get some insight on some of this stuff so that we can start to move forward. And guess what? Now all of a sudden, it ain't no fun when the rabbit get the gun. And it's like, oh, this is working. This is actually a bridge that you can walk across and say, yes, this is something, but it's gonna test you. It's gonna test everything in you, because now what starts to go on is this internal fight of, if I actually start to take this stance, I'm gonna lose some things in my life. I might lose this job. I might lose some friends. I might lose this relationship. Now, what's more important? Is it more important to have internal peace? Is it more important to have some internal guidance, like a light that you can start to find a beacon in the dark? Or is it more important to hold on to these dead relationships and these dead jobs and these dead things that ultimately are serving no purpose other than you feeling like you fit into some social experiment, as opposed to you saying, you know what, I'm finna actually get right. I'm going to actually now invest myself, my time and energy into some right ruling teaching and sit up under somebody that, you know what, I'm not going to play like, oh, I got this all figured out, because I don't. And that's okay. And it's okay to say you learned it from somewhere else. Because guess what? That actually takes pressure off of you. So somebody's like, oh, explain this. I learned this from here. And guess what? Then that's what's going to start making you do, is dig even deeper so you can explain it, so you're not just regurgitating something, so you're not just wearing it like a shirt. It's going to cause you to dig, but you got to be willing to put in the work. It's easy to take on a superhero title, but are you willing to take a superhero journey? That's what it boils down to. And if you're not willing to do it, then guess what? This may not be for you. And that's why some cowards, they come in here and then they run. As soon as somebody touches them or says one thing to them, then they pull their skirt down and all, oh no, you can't talk to me like that. Oh no, I'm not willing to grow. Oh no, I don't want to really be a brother. Oh no, I know I said all of this stuff during my orientation, but now that I'm really here and you're challenging me and you're telling me to move out of this position, oh no, I'm more comfortable with being in this position. So now, what are you going to do in this moment? Power is in the moment. What are you choosing to be in this moment? What are you choosing to do in this moment? Are you willing to acknowledge the moments where you fail? Are you willing to acknowledge the moments where you didn't have it all together? Are you willing to acknowledge and share that? Or are we just going to keep covering it up like, oh yes, I'm good, but all of a sudden lying to everybody else now, making them think that, well, there must be something wrong with me because I don't have it together like they do, and we all just putting it together. So, yeah.
Right. That togetherness, like, if you're broken, then it's hard to put yourself back together by yourself. Like, it's impossible if your arm is broken off. Like, you can't handle glue and hold the arm in place and do it on accurately with one hand. Like, you're gonna need that support and that strength from others. Like, I'll give an example. This is what she was talking about earlier too. I'm guilty of it. Like what the sisters were doing. So y'all don't say, oh, what about the brothers? During one of the men's bills, he's in the room, Brother Raheem. He was at the mosque, right? And he was doing some charity work. You know, he was giving back to some youth and spending time with them and building with them, right? And I started getting on him because the sun was down while he was still out, you know. And Chief had checked me and said, you know, he's still doing the holy work, you know. So even with that checking, like we need that, you know what I mean? From the men's side, you know, women need men and men need men. We need that from the men's side too, because here it is, and I say I did what the sisters were doing because I Lord Voldemort it. You know, Chief, I think it was Friday, you know, I brought it up, but I didn't say who I was being so inflexible towards, you know, and I didn't say who had checked me or who had corrected me, because I'd received that correction before from my older brother. You know, he told me sometimes you're too literal and you don't give leeway where you need to. You know, and that's something that it goes to listening, right? Like Chief had said, men need to be able to listen. So I'm saying that to say we don't have it all together. We have certain things that we came in the door with, and we still have. We have some things that we came in the door with, and it was addressed, and we put in the work, and it was repaired. Us repairing things that were broken doesn't mean that everything was repaired, and us not repairing everything that was broken doesn't mean that nothing was changed. You know, it's a process and a journey, and being able to respect it as such without trying to seem like, you know, like Gaki's accent, I woke up like this. Like, I woke up raggedy. I was tired. Like, I had to run the day too. I didn't want to do it, but I had to get up and do it. You know, my room was messy. I had to clean up my room, you know, because I was falling off a little bit, you know, and there was a charge that was given out by Chief early this morning, and it made me sit up and like look at my surroundings, like, hold on, this isn't, this doesn't represent how my mind should look. You know, my living space doesn't represent how my mind should look. So I had to get up and organize. You know what I mean? But it's like you gotta have that balance as well. I probably shouldn't be the one who has to keep the space clean and focus on the energy that I should be focusing on doing what I'm supposed to do. You know, if you have someone in your space that does that, then that takes the pressure off of you. You know, so like good ground, launching from good ground would recognize that. So it's not just women working to try to understand how they can be good ground, but even helping men to understand what happens, how do you spot good ground, or how do you know when ground isn't good, and you should give it a wide berth, because that might be a sinkhole. But yeah, man, that's what I wanted to add to that as well.
I wanted to add to what Mr. Melek and Zach was saying, that especially with the audiences, and they don't see what's in the background. Like Chief was saying, you might right now, for some women that may think, and like I said, we don't care if you're thinking like, okay, Chief is bashing on the women. No, you don't see what goes on in the background with us as the men. Like Master Merrick was saying, we men we go through our moments, and I knew it is work. This is not something that we came in the door and we got it all figured out, like Master Melek was saying. No, this is constant work, constantly building, and to have that, like you said, from the segment, launching from good ground, we men have to, because most of us came into Anu, our ground wasn't good, so we had to cultivate. And of course, when you're cultivating that soil, that good land, and then making sure it's fertile, and making sure it's again that foundation. And so, but adding to that, and this is the thing that most people don't really understand for us men, is that we have to submit to what? To someone higher than us. That is rarely seen. And so what I appreciate about us in the space with Anu is that we recognize there's a solution. In other words, it's a solution for every issue and everything we deal with. And we have to work that out. Some of us going to take a little longer. Some of us can get it right away. Some of us, like Mr. Milek was saying, and even Waki Zach was saying, being superhuman, it takes work. And so that work is constantly, because like I said, we get chewed out, and corrected. But that correction is being vulnerable, meaning that you're being vulnerable, and also are you going to heed the instructions that you're getting? Can you accept those instructions? Can you accept them without getting my feelings are hurt? No, this is not about your feelings. This is about growth. This is about, are you able to understand that not only are we building together as a community, but it can affect everyone. So it's not just for the women. Yes, the submissiveness and giving in, and yes, that fear. Even us men, we have to get over that fear of giving orders to women. And it's not about just giving orders. It's about what is our purpose? What are we here for? Are we supporting one another? Are we really building what we say we're building? And so we're charged with that. And that's what I give thanks for this moment and being in Anu. And also, like I said, the correction is not just what you see, what some audience may see with the women. No, we men go through it just as much. Matter of fact, harder. Because that's why we're charged to have good ground. Because if we don't have good ground, where can the women come to build and to nurture that fertilization, that nurturing that good ground? If we don't have that stability, we don't have that foundation, the women won't be able to come and to be able to launch from that. And so I just wanted to share that in the space and building on the conversation of what was shared.
Peace. It looks like we have everyone that's been trying to get onto the podium here. I wanted to just jump in really quickly. Thank you thank you, brothers, for everything that you just shared. To build on what Abba Harut just touched on, first, thank you. Yeah, there was no, I had to write the word down, bashing, right? So I want to be clear, as the one sitting on camera saying, what's happening? It's not from a place of bashing. Not only is it not that, I also want to acknowledge that what is not seen. So Abba Harut gave a perspective of, the standard that's held for the brothers as the standard was publicly held or displayed, and just a little bit here with myself and Akoti Yafe. But beyond that, what isn't shown is the nurturing. And there's so much more of that than there is this is what you don't do correct. Because what we don't do right, I'll speak for myself. what I don't do, forget about get right. What I don't even do is so much more than the things that are called out. And so I appreciate, I value, I can see the grace in that because I know, oh man, like I shared in my aha moment, it took me to another thing that like, oh yeah, how long has this been on my to-do list? Right. I said I wanted to do carpentry, but I never actually did it. So now that the space has been made because I followed instruction, now I can follow another set of instruction. Um, and what Abba Harud is speaking to or sharing on as far as that there being these levels or hierarchy of standards has to do with judgment. And I'm just gonna pull from the Anu Way where it says the battle is always with us. Much of our training involves moving beyond the victim temperament. So one, we got to know the battle starts here. So whether we're that, well, as women, as Chief said, we're that sinking earth, right? And yeah, we're that sinking earth. So we have to know that the battle is with us. So first, it's like, do you even acknowledge that? Can I acknowledge that, dang, I'm here and I'm sharing and I'm building and I'm still not fully listening because of fear of people I don't even like. I don't want to be like them. So why am I concerned about them seeing this, or whether it's actively or passively, right? I'm not even fully conscious of the fact that I don't want to say it that way. Can I say it a different way? No, I have to say it the way that is truthful and is righteous, right? Which is doing what I know is right in this moment. And what is right is this. Right? I've been deceptive. If I'm not owning fully what and how I've gotten to where I am, and this is not even fully being obedient. So, yeah. So there'll be a lot. I think my messages going forward is going to be a lot more of so what happened and what I didn't do, unless I'm actually doing. But I wanted to continue. The battle is always with us. Much of our training involves moving beyond the victim temperament. We must serve judgment upon ourselves in order to truly be vessels of the great spirit that we have been endowed with. We do judge, as all people do. However, our verdict is guided by the thought, words, and intention of the Most High. The first judgment is on ourselves. The first private ruling is a righteous call to evolve. The battle is always with us, is the first line. And the last line in that paragraph is the first private ruling is a righteous call to evolve. You have to want it. We have to, well, you don't have to want it, but for those who do, like the first step is to just know that the battle is with us. And so when my covering says this is what you're to do, yes, this is what I'm to do. And when I'm not doing that, recognize, oh shoot, this is the problem. This is why I'm not where I could be. And I know Aki Zach touched on it as well, right? It's not just necessarily well, I'll just say it happens across the board. It's a pervasive issue. And he described a weak male and how a weak male responds when addressed and when corrected. And Chief spoke on it as well. Well, yeah, they're silent, they're quiet, but we're quiet when we're not, we didn't, well, I don't get loud or rowdy, but it's like, well, I could talk loud, but I don't react in that way. But there are women who have. There are sisters who may even actually be listening passively on this clubhouse that left because their toxic femininity was addressed in the womb space. These things happen. These things happen. But they happen for us to grow and also for you to be acknowledged. Like someone sees you. We all see you. just like y'all all see me. So anyway, I know there are others in this space who may want to contribute.
You know, I would add to what you were sharing, Ema Yakira Eden. And I want to go back to what Chief said earlier, and that is that the men are called to be your savior.
Yeah.
So that's ironic that in the world, especially, and I was saying this to one of my patients the other day, is that it's amazing how people, this is women, it's amazing how women, they serve up the churches very much, and they're going to look for their savior. But then your savior is physical within you. I'm sorry, not within you. Your savior is present physically, and yet they don't recognize it. And so, like Chief is showing that this is what the responsibility of us men to be, is to be your savior. So now, it's easy to look at the scriptures, and it's easy to look at this moment. It's like, well, Christ, Yahushua did this, and Yahushua did this. But then, when you're called upon, that your only way for you to make it and survive in this crazy, treacherous world is, who is your savior? Are you worthy for a savior? That's why for some women, and this is going back to the topic what we were saying about is launching from good ground. If you don't have a savior, if you don't have a covering over you, a righteous covering over you, that is guiding you, you're lost. It's that simple. It's very plain, but it's interesting how most people sidestep that. And so that is the issue that is facing the world. Women talk about they want a righteous man, but then when it comes to them, because everyone's given an opportunity, but you don't. You choose the low vibrational male, the one that's not fully developed, because you'll choose him. Because why? You'll run over him and you'll be the boss, and you want to be the woman king, and you want to be, but see, that's not going to work. And so that's another thing about building what you were sharing is, and what Chief was bringing up earlier is, who is your savior? If you don't have a savior, then you're not going to make it. And so that's another thing why us men in Anu are called, okay, how can you save a woman if you're lost? How can you, if you don't have the foundation, if it's not built from launching from good ground, it's impossible. Because that's why we have to have something. What are we building off of? So if we don't understand what building that Yahushua within us and building that and structuring that and being corrected without taking your emotions and your feelings getting hurt, and especially for us men, you're not going to make it. And so right now the world is mimicking, and this is what we see in the world. Women are trying mimicking to be men, but you're not called to be the Savior. You're not called to be the Christ. No, that man is called to be the Christ in you, and that's where you build that. But if you're not willing to be honest and be vulnerable and let go of your fear and not being submissive and not trusting, because I love it when I hear women say, "Oh, I got God in my life, and I'm trustful." I said, "Okay, where's man at?" Well, I'm just waiting for him. I'm waiting for him to come. Okay, but how do you not know he already came? And so that's the part they don't understand that part. So the one thing Chief mentioned, and it's really, again, going back to listening. Having a listening ear. If we are called to save you, is being righteous. And the women, if you're not willing, if you're foul and not willing to take constructive criticism and not being willing to submit willfully to the Most High through the man, you're not going to make it. So I just wanted to share that because I was on my moment because I was brought up earlier what Chief was sharing about. It's not about you needing a man because you need a man. No, you need a savior. That's specifically a righteous savior. And that's where we're talking about it anew.
Just to be clear, in
we're saving hoes. Some people listen.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
I was thinking he ain't talking about Captain Saberho, but I was.
Right. Because it's almost like a challenge to a female in this day and age to see how long you could stand outside of Noah's Ark. How long you can stand outside there before you say, okay, the water's up to my neck. Let me see if I can still get in. You know, instead of saying, oh, this man, you know, first of all, he built the ark, and I see a lot of stories with him, like preaching to people saying, oh, you need to get on this boat. But the boat was for them. You know what I mean? But you got a mind, and he got some sense. He's like, this water's getting kind of high, and this dude sound like he making sense. Let me build a boat too. You know, but you don't really get that because it's like there's the saying, there's like a line from a movie, Wall Street, and Gordon Gekko, he said everyone's drinking the same Kool-Aid. You know, it's just like affecting you in different ways, but everyone's drinking this poison-laced Kool-Aid. And they're thinking that, well, as long as I'm on the right side of it, or as long as I can argue my way through it, then I'll be okay, as opposed to recognizing, well, what I'm doing isn't balanced, or what I'm doing isn't right. Let me try to get right. Let me try to get balanced. It's usually, well, if I'm on the right side of the argument, then I'm okay. But you're not smart enough to know what's right. You're not smart enough to recognize truth because you've been swimming around in ignorance for so long. And when someone brings you to the truth and they're like, let me throw you a life vest, or let me throw you a lifesaver, you're like, you look at them like you're insulted. Like, how dare you claim that what I'm doing is not good for me? You know, even though I don't even know why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, even though I don't know why I'm refusing to live on purpose, or why I'm waking up every day and just doing what my friends are doing, or I'm waking up every day and I'm not really what's the word? I'm not really launching. You know, I'm not really propelling myself forward. I'm not really on my purpose. I'm just waking up every day and having a durational life. You know, you wake up every day and you live a durational life for men and women. And because of that, it's like no order, you know. And because you don't have no order, you know, anything goes, anything will do. You know, like that old saying, if you don't know where you're going, any map will do. You know, so moving forward with that guidance and that good game, and understanding that you need men who are men, and you need women who are women, and you need to be able to recognize what you're looking at, you know, as opposed to someone telling you what that thing is, you know, and then you just go off of that, and you go off of the feeling that you got when this person was villainizing them. You know, vilifying them. This person is sharing hate speech. Let's say they're spreading hate speech, and you're like, okay, sharing hate speech. I don't like hate speech, so I don't like this person. You know, as opposed to really looking at what's being said and looking at who it's coming from and what they stand to lose or gain from even saying this sort of thing.
Peace. I wanted to kind of build on the part of, like, you know, that ground and stuff like that, and being incorrect sometimes. I can speak from a youth's perspective. I'm like 99% wrong and 1% right half the time. But like in this society, they're gonna tell you, you know, you gotta find people who you can be equals with and stuff like that. But being in a room teaches you that that's not correct. Being around older men who could help guide you and teach you and, you know, show you where you're wrong. Eventually, you'll become right? And
you're gonna have your foot on. There's gonna be a foot on your neck, right? You're gonna be pushed to do things that you might not have never done in your life, and it's gonna be hard. But at the end of the day, that hardship and that true brotherly love is gonna be what pushes you to be a man eventually, right? And yesterday the brothers were speaking with me about some things, and one of the examples I used was if we're builders and we're building and saying we're building the temple, right? We're gonna have to know what the materials we need, right? And like we're speaking about today, women being that launch pad, they're gonna be the materials that we do end up utilizing, right? And how are we utilizing those women, right? And what type of materials are we picking from, right? And you guys are clearly outlining that there's certain types of traits that we need to be looking for, and there's certain types of traits that are out there in this world that we shouldn't be looking at, right? And something that is very, very important is to be students and to actually taking that inventory and even being here in this space, just listening sometimes or even speaking helps you realize what is needed and what is not needed, and what should be shunned upon and what should be actually valued, right? So seeing that Chief is here to actually help us with that, and also the other brothers, even speaking with Brother Zach sometimes, Master Menelik, even Abaru being one of the oldest, right? He gives a lot of wisdom from his experiences, right? And Brother Zach being a motivational speaker, right? He gives you that side where it's like, are you gonna do it or are you not? What are you gonna do? Like, there's no one thing I came in with was I said want a lot. I want, but no one cares, right? And what are you gonna do, right? And that's part of being a man is what are you gonna do and how are you gonna do it? No one has time for you to be wasting, right? And especially when you're speaking with women, they don't care. Some might care about what you want, but a real woman is gonna need that direction, right? They're gonna need they want, like Chief said, they're gonna want to attach to your ship. So what type of ship are you utilizing, or what type of things are you utilizing to actually take off, right? So that's very important. But like I said, being one of the this space, like everyone's saying, we're not perfect. When we come into this space, we're all damaged, we're all broken, but the difference between us and the regular people out there in this society is that we're here to learn. We're here to keep getting better, and we're here to keep trying, right? So I encourage everybody to come in and stuff like that. But this is a great space. Everybody here is still learning. Everybody here is still trying to help, right? It's a community for a reason. So this is why this is not just a space where you just come in and just settle. This is a space for you to keep growing and keep moving ministry, right? So I give thanks definitely, because since I've been here, I've grown a lot, and sometimes I don't see it until I start speaking with, like Master Menelik was saying at the mosque, speaking with the youth, right? Getting to see different types of people from different backgrounds and stuff like that, and having conversations where you're able to connect the dots and stuff like that. It's beautiful, right? So coming in here and getting that knowledge and being able to utilize it to build something is definitely life changing. So I encourage people to come in. Get there.
Give thanks. Brother Darian, I did see your message in the chat. I think you are on the podium if you want to unmute.
Can I be heard?
There you go. Yes, we can. Peace.
Okay, the first time I couldn't hear anything. It wouldn't let me talk anyway. But yeah, I wanted to give thanks for the build and the little bout that happened early with Chief, giving instruction. Like I appreciated it. And what the brothers were saying, that was not about, brother. That was a check-in. That's called the check-in. Yeah. All right, the check-in. You checking the chickens? Exactly. You know what I mean? But I don't know if that sounds a little close to choking the chickens.
I'm like, what was going on over there?
Lean to right for a second, right? Yeah. So that was too dangerous. I might slip and say the wrong thing. So I'm just going to call it the check-in. All right, the check-in. Well, I was saying I give thanks and appreciate that, because being, that open and showing that example, it gives, the the other brothers, especially us, you know, the newer initiates, you know, the younger men coming in to learn something. And I was mentioning in the comments about Ujima, you know, doing the 14 keys, and you know, it's a collective work and responsibility, and you know, being able to come in and figuring out where you fall into and or step into, and how you add to the collective to help everybody in whatever way you can. And looking at that, looking at each of the examples, how each of the brothers operate in, you know, different ways. You know, Master Middleegg, you know, the brain, Brother Zach, you know, that's Les Brown right there with the motivation speaker, and then Abra Harut. Everybody has, you know, these abilities that they add collectively. Even you know, Brother Ramin, like, you know, this man's out doing charity work. You know, that kind of corrected me. I'm like, man, I don't do that at all. You know, and that encouraged me. Like, hey, this man's way younger than me. Not way younger than me, but he's younger than me, and he's giving, you know, his actions are helping me correct myself. So, you know, I appreciate everything in Anu, and to those looking to join, I would say one of the things that I had to learn before coming in, and as I was coming in and going through the process, is you definitely have to learn how to submit and quiet your ego and learn how to take correction. Because maybe a year or so, maybe not even a year, maybe 6 months ago, I couldn't even stand with anybody, and I don't think so, just because of the amount of light that's here. So I give thanks to that, and thanks for all the brothers and sisters.
You know, I wanted to, as I was hearing Aki Darren sharing, interesting enough about us in Anu, and I think about what Aki Zach was saying, you know, to sports. You got the spectators out there. They sit out there and they see the players on the field. Who's doing the real work? The players, the coach, the referee. It's easy for those outside and spectators, and they buy their ticket. They get to see the play, they see the game, and then they see the game being played, and they're like, what are you doing? You're dumb. But see, the problem is you're a spectator. Most people are not going to come into Anu and join, because why? They don't want to be on the field. This is what Master Middleegg was saying. This is what Aki Zach was saying. This is what Ema Yakira was sharing, is that we are on the field. We are doing the work. And guess what? We fumble the ball. That's where Chief comes in. Damn it! What did you do? If you just come, see, this is what
all the time.
This is what the spectators sit out there and they're like, damn it! But see, again, it looks easy because you're a spectator. You feel that you paid your $20 ticket, or some got it for a discount for $1.55, and they think they can run the play. What the coach does, what the player does, what the referee. And so even though we invite those to come in, we already know that it is not going to be easy. Yes, you're going to get bruised. Yes, you're going to you may get a broken leg. You might even have a heart attack. You might even have whatever. The point is, that's another thing what the spectators see. They don't see what really goes on when you go in the back room. And before we get that huddle and we come out to play the game, they don't really see it. And so because it looks easy until you get those championship rings. Because again, you have to do it as a team. We are a team. Chief is about us building a community and teamwork. And guess what? There's only one damn coach. There's only one damn chief jet. And guess what? If you don't want to do it, who the hell cares? Get the hell out of here. Don't worry about it. Because we got other people lining up to come and join the team. But guess what? Even after all of that, they're still going to be spectators. They're always going to be out there thinking they know the game better than the coach, than the players, than the referees. So I just want to add that to what we're building on, and it just inspired me to share that with what we see. So I just want to share that, and I give thanks.
Drop the mic.
Can I add something with that too? It just made me. I'm glad you said that. Glad you said that. Because it just made me even think of when people get into sports and they try to compare themselves to a professional athlete because they play in their backyard or because they can post a video of them when they actually hit a three-point shot in their AAU tournament or their pickup games. And the difference between somebody who does this for fun and somebody who does this because that's what they do is they do it when they don't want to do it. And this is when you start to hear Chief say, "B, I knew." B, I knew. I don't do this for fun. I don't do this because it looks cool. I do this because this is who and what I am. This is it. There's days when I don't feel like doing it. Sometimes when y'all say, "Oh yeah, chicken," all I hear is all that is coaching. Sometimes you're gonna get coached hard. Sometimes you're gonna get a pat on the back. Sometimes you're gonna get a foot up your butt. But it's not the day. You can't go in today and be like, "Oh, I don't feel like doing it today. I don't feel like saying what I'm about. I'm actually gonna be about it because I just want to take the day off. Yeah, I'm gonna do what I want to do Monday through Saturday and then do some hard coaching at the TV of other people who have been putting in the work of running through it when the hamstring is tight and you're like, I don't feel like practicing, but I still got to go out there and perform. Oh yeah, my quads are burning, but I still have to go out there and perform. You know what? There's some days where I don't feel like reading, but I still have to perform. There's some days when I don't feel like studying, but I know I still have to do a midday affirmative. Like there's gonna be days, there's gonna be times where you don't feel like doing something. Now, are you gonna be Anu, or are you gonna be one of those spectators or one of those that just post little motivational quotes every now and then and saying that you're a part of something, but you're not doing it when you don't feel like doing it. You're only doing it when it's convenient. Yeah, so I just wanted to add that.
And on that note, come through to Anu. Now, seriously, it's we have those feelings, and I see you, Okotiafe. But we're charged to do more. I mean, how many times has how many times has he said he actually doesn't like speaking to me? Come on. How many times? Like, all we want is to sit and listen. And he said so many times, I don't even like talking. I'm coughing because, or not coughing, it's like he's got to clear his throat because, oh, I'm talking over the volume that is my normal speaking, like volume. So it's like, how much more should we be giving, doing, being, if this is who and what we are? And I can relate. I'll just say I can still relate, and because I can relate, like, again, I'm committed to be. And I'm sorry, I'm looking over here because I'm talking, looking at the phone instead of looking at the camera. Pardon me. But I'm really committed to making sure that the sisters, I can't speak, the brothers are here to address you all males, to the sisters who don't feel that, who feel that they're interested in Anu, but are intimidated based on my false delivery. So I'm really committed to being honest, not more honest, but fully honest about my experience, because there are beautiful, beautiful days where it's like, man, this is a phenomenal life. But in that moment, it's like, well, you know what? Yeah, I got here because I was instructed. And even in those instructions, there were laments and moans. And, do I really want to can I do this next year? Or do I really want to write this book? I don't even understand what I'm writing. But there's a trust and an obedience to, this was the charge, get it done, know that it's a part of a bigger thing, and be committed. And that's how I see Anu. This was the charge. We're here to get it done. Like, I shared my precepts, I shared my content because I knew what did I say in the beginning? I'm giving you this information. So when the conversation becomes the build, you'll at least be able to go back and dig in for yourself. As Aki Zach said, we don't always feel like studying. We don't always feel like coming on here and bringing it. But that is a part of the reciprocity. That is how we show gratitude for all that we receive. You know, Chief touches on, and we share pieces of what we receive and get to begin to digest on the inside, right? Internally within the Anu space. But what we bring here is just a small reflection of that. So yeah, so apply, you know, if it's something that you truly desire to do or will to do or see yourself, you know, or connect with. But Akotiafe, I think you had unmuted earlier. Pardon. Yes, no? Okay.
Well, that's what I was going to say, that it is difficult to get up and speak on the regular. And sometimes, yeah, I was just going to agree and then say that was a part of the reciprocity. So.
Oh, so see, same wavelength. Mm-hmm. And Akoti Maria, welcome.
Yes, welcome. I'm just going to take my little buggy and park it here a little bit. Because I have a buggy, you know, Mercedes Benz. Joking. So there's so much sometimes when these bills happen, I want to say something and then my finger goes to unmute and it's like, but then there's more, and then there's more. So my mind, you know, I'm listening and sometimes I get pulled down all these avenues, but it's, you know, like it's so true. It's not just, you know, like getting on here and saying, oh, being part of Anu is such a beautiful thing. And, you know, I do think, thank you, Chief, for that, like that calling out on like being more transparent. For us sisters specifically, being more transparent about our journey and, you know, like sharing like where we came from, you know, and where we still are, right? Because, you know, I will say, even with, you know, and I feel like I'm going back from like an hour ago or more, because I know that was much earlier where we were kind of charged to speak and, you know, like be real about some of the things. And one of the things is, yeah, I started a podcast and it dropped, it fell out my hands. And, you know, like recently Chief had to say, you know, get on the podcast, you know, like, and there were direct instructions because I would probably just like leave it, you know, and that's part of my struggle. But it's good that, yes, it's a part of my, I don't want to even use the word struggle, but it is something that I have to move through and work through. And it's not me moving through it, it's Chief giving me instruction. Because, you know, like I had things just sitting there on the back burner, and I wouldn't move. You know, I wouldn't move. And so many times it's really important to see the value in that direction. But there's even more value in the receptivity to the instruction. Because, you know, like I think about his reference to women being the earth and that launch pad. You know, like, you know, it made me consider that the launch pad has to be composed of certain things in order to be able to, you know, function at its, you know, like optimum. Because we're not launching, but we have to be able to hold on. We have to be able to hold on tight and be in step and in rhythm, right? So that means like there has to be a level of harmony and harmoniousness and connectivity or connection. I should also, connection. Because if that doesn't happen and there's no connection, when that launch happens, you'll be sitting on the launch pad just there, you know. and everything else is like 100 miles in front of you. So yeah, it's really important to also, like I started to consider an Isaiah reference, biblical reference that we've spoken about and had conversations about as sisters before. And I think we've had open discussion on the Shema about it. It's what is the in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And there's so much value in identifying what that reproach is, right? Because reproach is disgrace, right? Reproach is shame. And so, it's important to see the value and understand the value of being covered and having direction, because without that, we walk in disgrace as women. That's what I wanted to share. There was more, but conversation went to so many avenues. I'll pause.
All right. You paused. Did you want to give more? I see your mic is still open. No, you muted very fast. Yeah, I'm not gonna say give thanks anymore. Because I wanted to say something more valuable and just add to the build.
Oh, okay, let's hear it. I was doing before you cut off.
I didn't even think that. Based on what you were just sharing, Akoti Maria, it's been said, Chief has said many times that Isaiah 4:1 verse that you touched on, that you recited and give thanks. Thank you, Ema, top tier speaker, for putting the reference in the chat. That's the time that we have been in, a time where we're beyond. You flashing that mic? What's happening, Maria? Jump in if you want to jump in.
It's the clap. That's what that is.
Oh, I'm not.
The clap.
The phone has the clap.
Come on, why y'all doing this? Like, come on. I think everyone knows my maturity level is not where those in the public sphere would actually think. I just said it. I'm a very immature person, and I laugh at all of the childish things. So, phones having the clap. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's why me and Aki's act like picking on you, because you like to act like you ain't as much of a class as we are. Exactly.
I know, I'm cracking up right now. Okay. Let me get my composure, get my, my vernacular together. Poise myself. Right, there we go. Okay. So Isaiah 4:1, that's the time that we're in. And that's not me saying it. That's something Chief has said publicly and definitely in the space of Anu. These are serious times that we're in, and I'll figure out how to connect it to the larger message. But just to build on what Akoti Maria shared, we should be running to remove that reproach. We should be running towards redemption. And I guess that would be the flip side to the, we make this look intimidating. I'll say when the Anu Way came out, and I've shared this before many times, when the Anu Way came out, like I squeaked in under the last set of seasonal, once a year you can apply and pretty much fill out an application, and I guess, I don't know what I put on there, but I was allowed in. And then the Anue came out. And I was like, wait, what? Wait, I'm supposed to do what? I'm supposed to be how? I don't think I'm ever going to get there. And as I shared earlier, you know, we go through, I go through the Anue and read daily a section. And so for sometimes, some strongs, it's the same section. And I'm still like literally scratching my head, like, yo, how do I do this? And what I realized is that the easiest way to do it is truly to be obedient. Like it sounds, and I'm not always, which means I'm not, right? Period. Like I can put the always on there. And who's on? I'm sorry, Messamana. Like, did you want to say something?
No, I'm sorry. I think my phone has a clap too.
Come on, stop it. Stop it.
It's contagious. Phones would have put in courtship papers on each other and not find out there's some hanky going on.
Oh God. I don't know what's going on. I just don't want no parts.
Clubhouse has the clap.
T-Mobile.
Nice T. T,
I'm
I'm sexy.
ting. I'm Ray. Let me stop. Come on. Miss Sexy. Oh God. Okay.
Alright, so that's how she is.
It's worse than it.
It's a lot worse. Y'all don't want no parts. Y'all don't want no parts of her.
She always the one trying to rein us in. Like we can't have no fun.
So come on, people.
She'll turn her camera off. Like go get some tea or do something else dignified.
Yeah, you can always tell. Yeah, she touches on there and she right. Yeah, bring it
back on and the eyes be all red and tears be out.
Listen, come on. Don't tell all the secrets. All right, see, I'm gonna say it. Some of y'all get up on here, and you do your straight presentation, and it's like, all right, gotta go by. And then when it's my turn, everybody want to cut up. Yeah. Look on camera. If you look on camera.
Yeah, everybody know we talking to you. So, who's
Oh, I'll leave it there. Nope. Aki Zach. He gets on, don't nobody cut up, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna go. So don't be cutting up for me. That's it. I said it. Now I'm gonna be in trouble.
That's a common argument too. Yeah, see,
What you say?
You know that one.
What?
Yeah, y'all always like to do the whataboutisms.
Oh no.
You try to snitch on someone else to change the topic.
No. I want to change the topic.
I'm glad you said that. Because when I get up there, y'all just watch me. That's all.
Not me, Aki Zach.
You on your own. Yeah.
Not me.
When I'm done, I'm done.
What about doing a midday community show, for years, and no 2 hours and not one response? But then when I get off, everybody jumps in my inbox. Did you got a question, man? About that one.
Yeah, we want that reciprocity. Don't be having me act silly.
Too advanced for the general public. So,
that is something they said. Chief, you was flowing, man. You was flowing. I didn't want to interrupt. I was flowing, even though those times I said the number out loud that you could call in. That was part of the flow too.
Right.
Even in the commercials, even had commercials in me. I was flowing into.
something 945-7680. Call in. That's Bill. Right. Hey, I got the number sound blasted into my brain. You know what I'm saying? 347-945-7680.
I was going to say, I said it. Right. Wow.
So it's international for me, so I couldn't call that.
Look, there you go with your excuse.
9 minutes. You should have did that night.
You see that?
After 9 o'clock, I could have been on all the way with you, chopping it up.
All right. So what I was saying before before the clap started.
Before you started laughing.
Right, before the clap started. Yeah, I'm goofy, y'all. This is the time we're in. So even that idea of being intimidated, I think everyone has touched on it in some way or another. There are components of this that is intimidating for each and every one of us. Like Aki Zach said, something that takes that pressure away is saying, I got it from him. I got it. This is what I was instructed. This is how I, got to where I am. I didn't figure it out. It was laid out for me. And even that I could barely do. So don't be intimidated. Because that's really just like the ego, which I think Brother Darian touched on. That's I think it was Abe Harut that touched on that ego. That's what the ego will have you do. So know that these are serious times that we're in. Like, we're not heading to them, we're in them. So read Isaiah 4:1. Be warned.
You know what though? Like on another vibe, like forget the warnings.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say two things: forget the warnings and then forget the invites to Anu. The door is open for a little while longer. Some doors have closed, some are still open. Because there's some people who have asked to apply or come back and have been denied.
That's true.
I don't have patience for that now. Like it's almost like every 6 months or so, I say, okay, we were allowing this kind of knucklehead in before, and then I'll send out a letter saying, no more of this, no more of that, no more of that, no more of that. And then it's going to dwindle down to those who are truly righteous and hungry and really trying to community build, not coming in and say, I want to see what this is about. Because we really don't need anybody. That's the important thing to understand. I don't need anybody. So if you're being invited, it's not because someone's begging you to come in because they want offering money or something like. It's not a church. The door is just being open for people's own comfort. But we're at a place now where I say people have to come banging on the door, whether it's open or closed. Like, let me in, please. And if you don't see that that's where you're at, then you're only going to be a headache. Only. When you speak about that verse in Isaiah, like I always say, those were women who were bargaining. That wasn't, a lot of people will speak about that scripture and say, well, that's how it's going to be in the end times. No, the way it's going to be in the end times is that women, it's because you got to read again the verses before that, where it speaks about there were no men of strength. There were no strong men. So that city was in total turmoil because there were no strong men. So 7 women said, hey, let us just attach ourselves to you. But we don't read later in that scripture, the guy might have been like, no, I'm not interested. No, thank you. And we're totally justified in doing that. You don't always have to be shown this enormous amount of grace, especially when you're able to read the times that you're in and the environment that you're in. Because nowadays, people don't even respect or appreciate grace. They still act stupid. Like I brought up again on one of my podcasts recently about someone who went through the process and then was told something and got their panties all bunched up. But the thing is like, you don't recognize how much was poured into you by different people. So I tell you, and I'm saying this for all the Anu listening, I'm not interested in any more weak males. We have taken in weak males in the past in hopes of building something up in them. But weak males, just like Negroes, are always a wild card. You never know what they're going to do, especially when they get in their feelings. That's why they're so dangerous to mate. Because they're weak and they're emotional, but they got testosterone. You know, and some of them, they stomp out on the hills, switching their butt, and forget this, I ain't doing this. You know, sometimes you get the ones like that after you done poured in them for months. You know, you was there from them when they needed help, when they needed someone to talk to about something, they needed some direction. You're giving, and as soon as you turn and you say, well, hey, how about this? We need this from you. They go off into the wind. And I'm not subjecting my people to that anymore. I'm not. A lot of these people who come in, I know what's wrong with them from the rip, but I'm giving them an opportunity to get right. And some are too stupid to take the opportunity. And I don't want stupid people in our new, because stupid people are dangerous to children. You know? So I just want to kind of put that out there. And I think it's important because, yeah, we invite, but the invitation is not because, you know, we scrambling or anything like that. The invitation is to let you know. And the only reason why we have to keep saying the invitation is because people don't listen. Because it's at the bottom of every video to join. And people will still say, oh, Chief, man, how does this work? How does it work? Did you go to the link? What link? What, on your Facebook page? They just say, you know, people, and these are the people, I'm saying, I know a lot of people got developmental issues, but, you know, we need scientists. And most importantly, when it comes to men, we need strong men, real men. And if you're not fully a man, at least want to be a man. You know, and I use Raheem as the example for that. He wants to be a man. So he's sitting around men, and we make fun of him and stuff like that, and all that. Yo, how you doing in school? Are you failing? But he recognizes, like he just said, I'm gonna be better at the end. Like, I ain't always gonna be the kid. Like, I'm gonna be better at the end of this. You know. And some guys don't have that sense of delayed gratification. They don't have the notion of it. They're just hyper emotional, and I don't want them anywhere around me, because truthfully, they kind of degrade your spirit. You know, they slowly corrode you. Every time I hear a male say something sissified, you know, I wince. It's just a horrible thing to kind of hear. No different than when I hear a female say something that's beyond her station. You know, when she's trying to put the Timbs on in the boxers. You know, I wince in the same, like, ugh. You know, it's vexing to my spirit. You know, so as we saying, like, if I have to tell you, like, they're talking about, well, don't be intimidated. If you that intimidated, keep your scared ass over there. Don't come over here. Don't. Keep your scared, corny ass over there. If you're a female who's like, yeah, but Chief, he seems rough. Good. Keep your punk ass over there. Because there are plenty of soft, fake teachers out here that will take you and go over there with them. Please go over there. Because every time you come in and you're a clown, and I assign one of my members, hey, you're going to sponsor this one, you're going to cover this one, and you flake out, then I feel like garbage. Because I'm like, oh man, I had somebody waste their time over here helping this person, teaching them, talking to them on the phone and everything, and this person just did a sucker move. You see, so I allowed that for a long time. I'm not allowing it anymore. If you come in, you sloppy, because the dude who did what he did recently, he never even contributed anything to him. This is a person, when we were doing study groups and stuff, hey, you got anything to say? No, I'm just listening. I'm just listening. You know, you coming in as a man and you can't even insert yourself into the space in any type of way. You see, that says something. I don't mean to, like, kind of, but I just, as I'm hearing y'all say, well, come in, man, don't be giving these people all that. You know what it is. You see what we doing. You see the quality of the teaching. You see the quality of the instructions. You've read some of the books. You know ain't nobody messing with this. You know that. That's it. That's it. Ain't nobody got to do no sell pitch for you. If you still like, yeah, but take your punk ass over there then. Take your punk ass over there, please. Because I swear, I can show y'all screenshots Just yesterday, somebody was in my inbox in IG, unsent the message, but don't know I saw it before they unsent. I'm gonna keep playing dumb. They don't listen to Clubhouse, so they won't. But they might catch it on a YouTube video. And if you catch it, yeah, I saw your message. I'm in big trouble. Please, first you wrote, hey, how's it going? I'm in big trouble. Please, I need your help. Then I know I didn't respond, so I know you thought about it. You said, you know what? He's gonna get on me for coming in like that, coming in hot, and you unsent it. So now probably you're gonna wait for a couple of days and you'll come back with a different approach. But I'm gonna ignore that one too. I'm gonna ignore all your messages. Like I've been doing. Right? Because we told you you wanna know how to get help. You want to know how to be in this space? We already told you. We got whole web pages typed up, and here, this is how you join, and this is what to expect, and that's it. That's all you get. That's it. And if you get some crumbs because these are crumbs that you're getting in these Clubhouse shows, you're getting in YouTube, you're getting a podcast. Those are crumbs. The stuff that we talk about internally is way more hard hitting than this, and that's what I showed a little bit of today. When you listen to the sisters and thinking like, oh, they notice it. No, they get some hard-hitting instruction behind the scenes. You're just getting crumbs here. And this is just opening you up to see, okay, this is something I want to be a part of, because you're still getting crumbs from a superior loaf. What's out there is a lot of mold. That's why you would have 7 women cling to one man. When people ask me, well, Chief, how you do? You got all these women. How you got a harem? It's easy, man. Everybody's suckers. All you gotta do is be a man. It's mad easy. I told a woman that yesterday I was talking to about something. I said, it don't matter how I look. She's like, oh, yes, it does. I said, it does not matter how I look. I'm a man. That's all you need to worry about. You know, and she's seen me before and everything, but I was saying, like, my looks don't matter. You know what's out there right now? There's a lot of pretty sissies out there right now who will leave you high and dry. You see? So that's why 7 women would cling to one man, not one adult male, who can't take criticism, who has no vision for life, who has no purpose, who's out here just meandering and blowing in the wind. You see? Now some of y'all blow your way over here and like, man, I'll sign up. And then it's like pulling teeth. I don't want them anymore, man. I'm just not interested. And the same thing goes for the females. If you females are still coming up in here, man, and your testicles are still on the outside of your body, I don't want you. Push them back up in there where they belong. But if you coming in on some masculine, the goddess energy, and well, brother, hold on, brother, you gotta no, go down there. I can give you a list at this point of where you could go. When you go to a job center for help, they're like, we can't help you, but here, take this list. They already got it printed out because they don't want to talk to you. Here, take this. No, you can't fill that out here. No, you just take that with you. That's where it's at this point. There are so many fake teachers out there. There are so many masculine spirit houses run by these single, masculine, sick, single, I'll repeat again, females who only want to keep you single. There's like this Ea this and Ea that and Mama that and Queen that and God. There's a million one of them. Go over there. Because if you're a weak male, they're gonna treat you. They're gonna worship you if you're a weak male. Because they know that you're trying to be something that you could never be. You're trying to be them. They're gonna worship you. If you're a masculine female, you'll fit right in. Don't worry about it. You see, there's so many other places to go. But nah, man, the days of, like I told you, slowly the door will close. The days of you hearing in the commercial, if you want to join, I know if you want to join, that's getting ready to go. That's getting ready to go. Okay, so I don't know. I know I talked for a long time on this one, but it kind of irks me a little bit when I hear you all sometimes trying to show a more humane side to your own journey as it relates to like your nervousness or your anxiety, and you're pushing through it, and you may not realize because you haven't been doing this as long as me. No one's gaining encouragement from that. They're not gaining. You thinking they're said, there's some people who have left Anu because of dumb, idiotic reasons. And they come back and still listen to the segments, but have not even apologized for what they did. There's some of those people. You know, have not come in, yeah, I was wrong. They'll hint that they were wrong. Yeah, I could have done that a little different. But why don't you apologize to the people you offended, who were looking out for you, who were holding your hand through things, who were talking to you about your situations? Some people come in, they got raggedy relationships with their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, their children, and we're coaching them through all of that and getting them stabilized. Then if you say something like, well, you know, maybe some of this is on you. Maybe you're a bit accountable for it. That's when they flip out and they leave. But wait a minute, what about this 3-4 months I poured into you for free? I wasn't getting paid for that to help you out. And it was always there when you needed me. And I say one thing and you go run out, but then you come creeping back around like a little weasel later. And you can't even say in that moment, hey, you know, I was tripping earlier. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. You still can't even do it. Keep your punk ass out of my kingdom. You can catch these little crumbs, but don't, you know, for some of you, don't think that the calls for the invite is for everybody. Like Yakira Eden said, well, I don't know how I got in. She got in because I was already talking to her before. She had already came to me for help, and I was already helping her, and she showed that she could listen. That's why I said, okay, you can come in. And there were other people the same way. I had already spoken to them before. So yeah, okay, this one's got sense. This one's got sense. That one's a knucklehead. No. That one's hard-headed. No. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Well, on that note, I am going to say give thanks, Chief, for making it plain. If there is someone else who wants to share or add to the build, please feel free. This is my final.
You know, that's what I was saying about what I brought about, like what you just shared about what Aki Zach would say. Being the coach ain't easy. Again, all the spectators, like Chief said, they ain't gonna come in because now, especially after that, I'm gonna drop the mic. Chief just dropped the mic. Oh no, the weak ones, we don't, like he said, we want no damn weak ones. You ain't gonna come in here because you're gonna leave. But this is the thing: building a team, building a community, playing on the field, playing the game every day, doing what the coach tells you to do, regardless you want to do it or not. That's work, and you're gonna have to do it. They don't, like he said, you don't give a damn what your feelings are. You will have to do the work if you want to come in here. And so that's what it means by the spectators and the real players, the ones that are on the field, doing the work daily, day in, day out. Wake up in the middle of the night, go to bed. Chief don't even sleep most of the time, and still have to make the work done. But that's the point. Building a kingdom is work. And going back to what the earlier we were saying about on building on that foundation, that takes work. So, like Chief just broke it down. It's simple. The door's getting ready to close. The team that we got is what we got, and who comes in, and guess what? There are more no's, and that's the thing that people don't get. There are more no's than there are yeses coming in. But the problem is people don't want to be vulnerable. People don't want to be honest. People don't want to be corrected because, no, this is work. But it's okay because you're going to be bitten by the world that's going to do worse. But that's okay. So I just wanted to give thanks, and I just want to echo what Aki Zach would do. That's why I love that brother. Peace. And that's why I give praise to Master Melech and all us that we work, because we have to support one another, but also hold each other accountable. So I just wanted to share that in closing.
You know, I want to say one last thing in closing for anybody else says anything. And again, I'm reiterating something, but I want to say it from a different angle, which is very important. For a lot of things that I involved myself in as a man and as a young man, as a boy, I wanted to be a part of the things that other people couldn't be a part of, not just because they were elite, but because of what it required. to broadcast that aspect. But I don't even really want to broadcast anymore the reactions and the going into this new Gregorian. I don't even want to talk about the people who don't think right. You know, when I wanted to study with certain people in terms of martial arts, and people was like, "Oh man, Sifu so and so or Sensei so and so, he's crazy. He gonna bring you in there. You a big dude. The first thing he gonna do is kick you all around the dojo to prove a point. I'm telling you, if you go in there, you're gonna get beat up." That's the one I want to go to. But is he good though? Oh, he's the best. He's the best. But he's gonna beat you up. But he's the best. Then you know what? Then I want to go over there. I want to be with the best. If that's what it takes for me to be with the best, I'm gonna go be with the best. Whatever. And there's so many other things. What schools? Oh, you got accepted where? That's a tough school. That's a tough school. But you know, you could go. You could do 2 years at the community, man. That would be a breeze for you to. But that's the tough one. That one has more prestige. That one will give me better connection. Yeah, but it's a tough program. I want to go over there. Why? Because I'm tough. So yeah, Sensei so-and-so is going to kick me around the dojo, but eventually I'm going to learn how to kick him back. And he's going to stop kicking me. Because I'm tough. I've been kicked before. I've been punched before. I've been bloodied up before. I've all of that. I have been in school and not done as well as I wanted to before. Like, you know, so there are people who are out there right now who are looking for their tribe. You know, there are men who are saying, where are all the tough guys at? You know, the real men that don't mind getting splinters, that don't mind breaking a nail, you know, who, based on the assignment, don't mind having to wear the same clothes for 3 days because we out here doing what we need to do. Where are they at? You see? And there's some women out there who are saying, I'm tired of my friends making fun of me because I want to be feminine, because I don't want to hang out in the club all night. You know, because I don't want to buy bottles with them and do this, do that, and play around all the time. But I actually want a family. I think that's cool. I watch shows where people have families, and I'm like, man, I wish I had that. There are women out there like that who are looking for that. I want a strong man who I ain't got to worry about nothing with. I ain't got to worry about nobody putting their hands on me. I ain't got to worry about nobody putting their hands on my children. This, you know, or whatever it is, who has something to teach me and tell me, because I like learning things. You see? So when you project that energy outward, like a lighthouse, you call those boats to shore. Because they're out there right now just upset and disgruntled. You know, man, this is what it is. I'm surrounded by dysfunction. And you let them know, wait a minute, no. This is a spot over here. I know you bouncing on through the woods and you running through the thickets and getting your feet cut up by thorns, and you hearing the drums in the distance, but you don't know what tune that is. I'm hearing some drums. I'm hearing a camp in the distance. I don't know if I should go there, if it's going to be another disappointment, or if it's going to be my tribe that I've been looking for all this time. You see, you get that. You watch the movie Quilombo, excuse me. You'll get a better understanding of what I'm saying. You know, when he was kidnapped, he was taken to those priests, sold to the priest, and then when he grew up, you know, he would look to the hills, to the mountains. This is where my people are. Until one day he was finally able to leave and go and climb back up that mountain to where his ilk were, to where his fabric is. So that's all I'm interested in, man. This, you know, like I said, leadership will always reflect onto the spirit of the congregation. And leadership will always attract people who have a similar kind of experience or energy as they do. That's why when you hear me talk, I'm always raw. I'm not raw because I got something for shock value. Watch this. It's because I'm sending out that beacon. And letting other people know, oh, okay, there it is. There's the drum. You know, whether it's his voice, there's the drum. All right, I can go over there. That's where I'll find my consolation. You see, that's where I will finally find rest. That's where I will finally find a place where I can plant. How many women want to be that beautiful, fertile soil to launch from, but can't because it's not safe to be? If I truly be that, then I'll be attacked. How many women want to say, you know what, I don't want a gun license. And I don't want to drive everywhere. I don't want to have to. I want to walk in the sun and in the street and be able to go to the store and things like that, and not have to carry a pistol in my purse. I don't like what that makes me. I don't like what that turns me into. I don't like thinking like that. But if I truly want to be the way I want to be, then I put myself at risk because I don't have a protectorate. So how many women will say, you know what? Oh, there's strong men over there. Okay, well, you mean I can go over there and still smell daisies and stuff like that, and and be safe and raise my children to be nerds and all that stuff, and know that, but that's where I want to be. So that's all I want to speak to, man, because the more we address, it's like when you have a classroom and you have unruly children, you end up ignoring the good ones for the unruly ones. The unruly ones, we already know what they're going to do. They ain't going to do nothing but waste our time. But there's the other group that we got to send the beacon out to and let them know. Hey, tough guys, we over here. You guys who are smart and like to learn things, but at the same time, you like doing pull-ups. You like being competitive. Because that's what it is, man. When I was coming up learning things, especially when I started dealing with the nation of gods and earths, especially. And everything I always got into, I was always the youngest one. When I got initiated to Ifa, I was the youngest one. I got initiated to Ogun, I was the youngest one. Came into the nation of gods and earth. I'm a teenager. Everybody is 20, 23, 24. These are grown men. Been to jail, back. Been to prison, back. I'm in high school. You see? And I already knew what it was. They're going to test me. I don't care. Because I can punch and kick back. It's all right. But I know they're going to test me. Because that's what they do. Because back then, only certain elite people ran with the gods. If you saw gods building on the corner, you could lean against a car and watch, but you ain't standing in the middle of that cipher unless you want to get beat up. You see, so in order to even inch closer and closer and closer to the cipher, you have to know something. They have to know, that's the young god. Well, that's you. That's the young god. Yeah, bring him in. Bring him in. Build on it. But you already knew you coming into a wolf's den. When you come into a wolf's den, and I don't know, and I'm talking to the men, because I don't know what it's like for women. I don't be over there with y'all. My friends are aggressive. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. We were actually working out together. And we were talking about like situations we avoid, like what they call NIGGA moments. And he was like, yeah, I let stuff pass. We were talking about how we basically let stuff pass. Like we don't get all crazy with people and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, man, because you could be just walking down the street, and then he demonstrated it on me, and he hit me with his shoulder real hard and pushed me, right? And like I went back a couple of steps, and I was laughing to myself. I was like, I got the point. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But we aggressive. That's how we are. When we talk, half the time we be hitting each other in the chest. Yo, let me tell you something. You know what I'm saying? We punching each other in the chest when we talking and stuff like that. See, because we wolves. You coming into a wolf den, so there's going to be certain type of behavior, and it's not posturing. Like when you hear Zach talking, you hear all the testosterone. He be getting all crazy, foaming at the mouth and everything. You know he's somewhere in a park, like pacing back and forth like a head coach with that little headset in his ear and that vinyl jacket, that windbreaker. That's how he be sounding when he be talking, because that's that energy coming out. Because you talking, you in the space of a bunch of wolves, you see. And I only want wolves and gorillas. As far as men, I don't want no gorillas with women. I mean, if you are, come on, sweetheart. I get it. We can't, nobody chooses how they're born. So, if you look like Mighty Joe Young, but then it's okay, sweetheart. We'll find somebody for you. But like I'm, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, hey, let me tell you something, man. I remember my man Danny, God bless the blood dead. He died a couple of years ago, man. I remember when his daughter was born, and he brought her around, man. She was like still in the little car carrier. So he was mad young. And my dumb behind, I was drinking some Guinness and eating some peanuts. Because back then that was dumb. I thought that was an aphrodisiac. So you know he's about to have a session, you drink your Guinness and your peanuts. So I was a little okay, you know about it. So I was a little buzzed, right? So he brought it over. He said, "Yo, yeah, you know what I'm saying? This little princess." First thing out my mouth, I said, "Yo, man, she look like Mighty Joe Young." First thing out my mouth. But he looked like Mighty Joe Young. You see what I'm saying? So at the time, I didn't think I was saying anything wrong. Like what I was trying to say is that is your daughter. Like that's yours. You don't even got to get the test because you look like Mighty Joe Young and she looked like the Great Babe. Like y'all both clearly got some primate stuff going on. You know, she's a grown woman now. I mean, she's a nice young lady now. God, she see me, she give me a hug and everything. She's a sweet girl. It worked out. It fixed itself because her mother was beautiful, so she looked more like her mother. She looked less like my boy Daddy. I love Daddy. That's my own boy, but yeah, he looked like a primate. But the point I'm saying is that, yo, if that's what we want, man. Now on the women's side, I don't know, maybe dares and does, you know what I'm saying? But you got to understand that that's what you're coming into. So when you look at dogs, man, anybody, if you've ever had dogs, when you go to feed them, you see how they be pushing for that tray? They be shouldering each other, and like if you don't get in there, you ain't getting nothing, or you just licking the bottom of the bowl, whatever's left. You see? So somebody coming into our new has to already be like, I'm gonna get to the bowl. I'm gonna get to the bowl. Yeah, I see them. They might bully me a little bit or try to bully me, but I'm gonna stand on something that makes sense. Not just on my emotions or my attitude. I'm gonna stand on something. And that's how men interact with each other. That's what it is. That's why they tell you to give a firm handshake. So I can see what you're working with. Because your firm ain't my firm. You might squeeze my hand, like, I could break his hand. All right, cool. So I know where we put you at. You see? So I just want to throw that out there, man. I know that was a long thing, but it's just an image that's in my head, and it's just something. You know, when it's time for war, anything that doesn't speak to that and speak to the defense of the community is going to be alarming and concerning. And I am alarmed and concerned by the amount of feminized, and I understand why they're feminized and why they're weak and how subtle it is amongst these males. The females, I'm not really thinking about, honestly. There's a lot of masculine, crazy, insane females out here, but they've been so stupid for so many years that people are figuring it out now. You don't even have to say much. Now, yeah, you have people like Kevin Samuels and stuff that started to point things out, but if you let something that chaotic and crazy go on for that long, eventually it's gonna implode upon itself, which we're seeing a lot of that now. But the thing that's happening with the males is far more subtle because we see so many examples of the spectrum being so far flung. So it's like, well, I ain't out here acting like RuPaul. What's the problem? Yeah, you're not acting like RuPaul, but you don't have a vision for your life. When you get around men, you get quiet and meek. You know, you never know how to speak up for yourself. You know, when you meet a woman and she starts to ask you things about your plan or what are you doing in life, you get nasty with her and you get hostile. You see some things and you don't know where that's coming from. You don't even think that's a problem. You see, but it's the same problem that RuPaul has. It's just a different, you know, part of the spectrum. It's just a different color on the spectrum. So yeah, now I'm going to definitely mute. I'm going to let you do your thing, Yakira. As long as no one says anything about, come on in, everybody, then I will be quiet.
Oh. Yeah, I'm just glad he added that piece about RuPaul, because people here, nobody chooses how they're born and try to say they're non-binary. That's why I'm non-binary.
Some people are born like that because you could you could do some things to a child in the womb. Some people are born angry. Some people are born distraught. Some people are born desolate. And it's all different forms of internal malfunction and identity crisis because they haven't identified themselves with the divine. So they come out with that. You know, so I shouldn't say born, but I should say birthed. Some people are birthed that way. They come out confused with an identity crisis, hating who and what they are, looking for a makeover. Who doesn't like a nice makeover? Make me over. You know, take something off my beard and, you know, give me a goatee, right? But there's extreme makeovers where now I get to reset because I never felt right from the moment I was birthed. I always felt like no one wanted me like this, except for my uncle, who used to come in when nobody was home and kiss me, right? So if I can be more of that thing that uncle wanted, then more people will want me.
Yeah. That last part, boy, or all of it. All I can say at this point is thank you. Thank you, Chief. Thank you all for contributing to the build. It definitely was my pleasure to really open up the discussion surrounding what we're launching from. And so for the women listening, watching, or catching this later, I encourage you to just be that launch pad or ascertain what the best path would be to getting there. Regarding everything else that was said, I actually had a song that I wanted to close out with that is perfectly on point. But before I do that, did anyone want to add anything else before we close out today? As Master Menelik says, no one speaks. So
I can't take that.
Oh, okay. Well, I hear you say okay. Well, there you go. Aki El Karar. So if there isn't anyone who wants to add, the song is Stay True. It just happened to be the song that I was going to close out with anyway. And I think that it appropriately, brings this session to a close. So I'm not going to hang anything up. I'm actually going to play the song out. And of course, this is Chief Yuya. Stay true.
Stay true. You stay true. Stay in your lane. Blend it out. Walk it out. Blend it out. Walk it out. Did you give it when you move it? Everyone can see your vision.
I'm sorry.
Get into it. Move it. Sunshine. No silence. Just feel it. Grow into your steps. Learn to manifest. Turning the next page is like my first step. When I exhale, just like my first breath. I came first, she came second. Turn off the phone, you know you need weapons. Yeah, it's like some good. Living what I am is like some good. Breathe out, bad vibes. Breathe in, good vibes. Yeah.
Peace, everyone. Give thanks. We'll get better speakers next time for, the good tunes. But hopefully, willfully, you were able to enjoy the build and the music, mostly the lesson. Peace. Be well.